through it.
You ain't gonna make it through. You don't like it?
No, not at all. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna make it through it. I might make it through it, but I started it, but no.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not going back to it.
What are you talking about?
Carter 6.
You know what?
It's gonna be tough.
Shit.
I'm so disappointed.
I
was telling him
it's Ken, I'm gonna say it once and I'm probably not gonna say it for the rest of the night. It's not that bad.
Oh my god.
Y'all killing it. It ain't that bad, but it's a version of Wayne no one wants to hear.
I was telling my
I don't want to
brother-
say much because we're reviewing it, so I'll y'all got it.
I was telling my brother it's the reason why Andre 3000 don't want to make another album.
I'm not putting that on Andre.
No, that makes sense though. That take makes sense because neither one of them were really tapped in with the culture.
Yeah.
And Wayne used to just going in there and rapping, and that's what it sounded like he did here. And whoever was responsible for getting his beats and putting the songs together, they didn't do him any justice. Like Wayne still can rap. Yeah. That's why you saying it's okay because he can rap, but this album is atrocious.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it's like getting served oxtail in a back alley. It's like you probably only gonna do that once, if that.
Or if you go to like a gentrified restaurant that got oxtail, it's like
that's more like it. Yeah,
Nick, it is that bad. Why you bullshitting, bro? It's that bad. And listen. I thought people were wilding when I started listening to like the first 3 or 4. You be like, what the hell? I was really like, what the fuck, man? What people talking about? But bro, and that's that shit falls off. I was about to say, bro.
It fall off a cliff
from the road to the fucking pits of hell. Like you under that Satan feet, nigga.
Listen,
that shit falls off.
I'm saying it's not that bad because I've only listened to the top half. I think
that's
why.
That's why
I haven't listened to the rest of it, but I'm scared, nigga. Because y'all
see, here's the thing: at the standard that Wayne is at, you can't have, even if it's decent, it can't be decent. You expect him to be.
That's why I'm saying it's not that bad because everybody's bringing it down because it's like.
No,
it's like
Carter 5 was decent.
It's like
okay,
if you see,
thank you, Doc.
It's like if you see Superman, and then all of a sudden he just end up being Clark Kent, but like not the identity Clark Kent, like that's who he is. You be like, damn nigga, I see you used to fly and some old shit. Now your goofy ass just working in the post office.
That's not true. Because all the last couple of albums have been decent. And decent is a stretch.
Don't say that. Don't lie to us.
It's
don't
been
lie
a
to
stretch.
I want to.
They've all been like this. They've all been a version of this. Here's what y'all telling me. It's all been a version of this.
Exactly. Like I didn't have high expectations because since the Carter
I had
4,
no expectations. After the Carter 4, you said
it's
the
been
Carter
like
4.
It's been down.
The Carter series ended with 4 to me.
Yep,
it's like when
the same.
It's like Fast and the Furious. It ended at 5.
Yep.
All this other extra shit is extra shit.
You know what the problem is with a lot of music today is there's not A&Rs anymore like it used to be. It used to be A&Rs. People think that the artists.
There was shitty albums too. Sheldon, don't hit me with that goofy ass.
No, it was. I'm saying for it was no. I'm talking about for these specific artists, like Wayne, for example. Wayne had helped cultivate and putting it together. He don't have that no more.
I can't go there because the reason why, because Wayne has been. This is his second time really being knocked down a little bit. Because if you think about it, after that Hot Boys era, no one was checking for Wayne until he literally rapped his way out of the pits of hip hop hell. Mm-hmm. That's why we fuck with him so much because he the first nigga to come back and be a superstar from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Like the Hot Boys was the hottest thing in the South at one point. Then they went away, and then like you talk about Lou all the time, Squad Up, all the mixtapes, and then he just kind of built his platform from that to now his white people know about him. It's just the fact that he went too white at one point, and then he tried to circle back around, and that's when the shit started going unhinged.
This album sounds like it's some shit that Skip Bayless listened to. Like it sounds like it was made for niggas like Skip Bayless.
He probably made it with Skip in the room.
Yeah,
Skip was there.
You go from having
all FS1 beats.
FSB shit. You go from having Birdman in the studio to Skip Bayless and Jim Rome or some shit like that. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, Bono's on there? That sounds great, man. But Sheldon got a point too.
I'm not giving Birdman that much credit as far as saying he helped craft Wayne. I can't believe it because he hasn't done it for himself.
It might not even be.
Birdman got good albums.
I'm talking about like people forget about what's his name? Cortez.
That's what I'm thinking about.
He was there early on. There was a couple other niggas that I haven't seen with Wayne since type shit.
Right. And see, those guys, Nick, at the time would be the ones that kind of be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? When you lose that person in the room that'll tell you something is bad, that changes things. And money changes a lot of things too. Money, we see it with comedians all the time. Like they funny and then they get that bread, they ain't got nothing to talk about no more. So these dudes are not the same, you know.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. His rise was interesting because he was already one of them. He was living a Mr. Nigga lifestyle at 13, 17.
I ain't putting this shit on nobody but us. Because y'all constantly be letting niggas slide and die before y'all, but y'all don't call it out. Y'all let these niggas be mediocre, and then they keep being mediocre till they terrible. Because Wayne has been bad since the Carter 4. After the Carter 4, Wayne has not gave a good album. And I've been saying it, and niggas been ignoring me like, he's the GOAT. He's this nigga that kills features. But it hasn't been giving us a good album. Y'all do this shit. I'm sick of this shit, because did it with Drake. Niggas be at the top and niggas be scared to say they falling off and call their ass out.
If you got a problem with Drake, just say that.
He got a problem with Drake. He got a problem with Drake.
Drake ain't got shit to do with this. I don't know why you bringing this little
I'm saying all niggas who be at the top and when they start being giving us mediocre work, y'all still be like, it's great. And
bro, we let them be experimental, bro. We let them be experimental. That's what hip hop is for. You can experiment. You could give me enough classics to experiment. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop is not for experimentation.
That's not true. I don't fuck.
Just start the show. You over here starting with your he on some curmudgeon shit. This is
no. What I'm saying is that it's not all genres experiment. All artists historically experiment with their sound, with their music. If you look at the Beatles historically, that's what they've done. Miles Davis had done it throughout his career. All artists do it. Every genre does it.
Mm-hmm. I think Sheldon had a point as far as the creative team, though. Like there's a lot of people. Wale just said it's an interview. A lot of artists nowadays, whether it be a legacy, act like Wale. It don't bother me. I'm not a Wale fan, but
no. That's the constant reference.
The Wale disrespect gotta be stopped, bro. Y'all gotta stop with the Wale disrespect for real.
Wale.
Talk to Casamount about that.
Hey, Lou, Wale's the Meg Griffin of hip hop.
Wale.
Y'all gotta stop. Y'all boys be y'all.
Hey, Jay, turn your camera on. I know you laughing too, boy.
I just laughed. It was funny. It's funny, but at the same, I ain't gonna disrespect Wale. That nigga had a run, and niggas act like Wale never really had a good ass run. They act like he never have.
His career is interesting because he was a guy, and now he's not a joke, but just forgotten. You know, damn near like a parody.
It's the antics, man.
I don't even think it's that. I think
would you say he like Meek?
No, he's better than that. He's much better than
Meek.
Meek had a higher peak than he did, though.
No. I'm not talking. Yeah, I'm not talking about talent wise. I'm saying like how people forget them as artists. Like you.
I think Wale is more looked at as like he just don't give. I don't think he gets enough respect because people just don't, for some reason, don't fuck with him like that.
Yeah,
like there's certain people that really do, and that's his core fan base. But for the amount of good music he's put out, good to great, you would think he would be on a higher level than he is, but he's not. And I think maybe it's because it's something. It's got to do with him.
It's Wale, bro. People just don't fuck with Wale the person, and that's some of his own doing. Because I even seen the clips from the Joe Budden interview he did, and he trying not to complain, but he's still complaining, and it's like,
but he couldn't help himself.
He come off like Pretty Tony. Don't nobody like Pretty Tony, but people know why Pretty Tony is popular. But don't nobody like him like that. And he kind of talk like that. But he actually makes really good music, though.
He does make good music.
If he did a concert right now, he have a lot of the Shea Butter biddies outside tonight.
I didn't realize he's been around as long as he have. I thought that I would figure like a Kai age person would know who Wale is.
Not really. Because his run was like
not really
2011 to like 2014,
right?
No, he wasn't.
He does troll a lot. You can't really take everything he says serious. But Wale just never got the respect.
Yeah.
When he was
like
at his peak.
I kind of think he was trolling, but Wale did come back up to him later and be like, man, they giving me shit because you didn't know who I was, man. We got to talk later. So I don't know if that was fake or what. But
and that's the thing. Like life continues to humble him, but he still has the confidence of Pretty Tony. That's the thing. You respected them there. You know what I'm saying? Because he get called out a lot. People shit on his name a lot, but he keep on saying like, "Nah, nigga, I'm one of them ones, and I'm gonna keep rapping like it."
All right, man. Y'all start the show.
All right.
This is why we don't have you on, bro. You always we dumb late. You don't know this is a sports show or pop culture. Nigga.
Hey, Guadalupe, it is uploaded. I just gotta publish it. So let me take care of that. There was one thing I needed to fix. So but be on the lookout for it. That's on me. My bad. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inch. Joining me on the show, we have FIFO, Shelton, Spike, and Nick.
What's happening?
Q said he'll be stopping through. You know, it's the NBA season, so and the playoffs are open. So, and you know, of course, he's gonna join in to give his thoughts on everything that's been going on. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't been up on it for the first 2 games, we've watched that together. And it's been fun. You can definitely see our journey as the games progressed. Definitely the first game, and the second was a dud. But nevertheless, we talked as usual about interesting things. We would not be able to do Game 3 tomorrow. Is Wednesday. We're recording Dead in Hip Hop. But just subscribe to the channel, man. Hit the subscribe button just so you don't miss us next time we go live. But before we get into NBA talk, let's start with the best performance of the week. Gotta give a shout out to Coco Gauff, who is starting to take the tennis world by storm, especially in Black communities. She continues to surprise folks that don't believe in her. And I don't know if we got another Serena Williams, but nevertheless, we have someone that we can pay attention to. Serena was just different. Serena and Venus were just different when they were up in their peak. But out of that comes Gauff, and she is starting to make waves. She won the French Open, so salute to her for a hell of a performance and comeback, because she had lost the first set, came back, won the second and third, and had to battle to win that third set. So she definitely did a good thing and handled her business. So yeah, but it's some haters. There's always some haters out there, and I guess the hater is Sabalenka, who was the number 1 ranked player in the match. She said that she won the match not because she played incredible, but because she made a lot of mistakes. And if you look from the outside, from kind of easy balls, so basically saying that I lost it, she didn't win it. So she said I made over 70 unforced errors, so I can pretend it was a great day for me. But yeah, so you're still starting to see some of the same, sort of discourse around some of our greats, but salute to her. Hopefully this is the first of many, because we're losing them, Nick. We lost the other one that got with Corday.
I was just about to say, Ken, I hope you wrap this up by saying I'm not only am I happy with her, because one, I was happy that I meant to put this in the notes, because we need to give one shout out to love to her, because she was on a run and we didn't even talk about it like that. But 2, I was like, I hope she stay away from rappers. I hope she like a alternative R&B nigga. Stay away from rappers. I hate saying that as a Black man, Shelton, but stay your ass away from them niggas, because Coco, what's her name? I forgot even her name. What's her name? Nasaki.
Yeah,
Osaka. Bruh, he fucked her up, bro. He got her pregnant and everything. Did her ghetto dirty.
Yeah, she just out. So yeah, did her like he did his rap career. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there, man. Shout out to Coco Gauff.
He dropped YBN and made somebody a BM.
Her career is mirroring Serena's too at the same point, I think, too, which is huge.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But on to the NBA playoffs, man. The NBA Finals officially started last Thursday, and we were able to give our live reactions to Game 1 and Game 2. We now have a tied series with Oklahoma City going on the road for Games 3 and 4 in Indiana. What's one thing you noticed about each team that could help them win this pivotal Game 3? Shelton.
Man, it's going to start with execution on the offensive end in the half-court set. Indiana has to do a better job of figuring out who, and I know it's late to be trying to figure out who's going to be the go-to guy, but it depends on who has a hot hand with this team, but they have to be able to find that person and take advantage of the weak spots in Oklahoma City, which it ain't many. But for them to win, they're going to have to do that. Well, okay, so you got to do is keep doing what they're doing, keep putting pressure on the ball, putting pressure on Haliburton, and make it to where the game is scrambled and Indiana can't do much. So that's what you want to do. That's how you want to start. But Indiana has to figure it out in the half-court set because they're going to have to play half-court at some point and get out and transition whenever they can.
Spike, I know you don't have much, so what do you got?
Somebody got to go get 20 points for the Pacers. Like, somebody got to be able to go when they need a bucket to get them a bucket. Pascal Siakam seemed like he was going to be that person in the Knicks series, but he hasn't been there. He ain't showed up. Like, I don't think they got anybody that's hit over 20 points in either of the two games. So they need somebody to go get their own basket.
All right. Nick?
LeVar Burton nephew got to score at least 30. And I would say for OKC, if SGA is really that nigga, and I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on him by saying this, and I'm only saying this because this is who he's been. If you look at the stats, if you look at their playoff runs, if you look at how the regular season went, he's balling like he that nigga. Yeah. He getting 40. He getting about 30 to 40 tomorrow night. Like, and I'm basically saying whoever drops the most points between those two is gonna win that game. Because I think this game is that pivotal where it's like everybody has to be like, fuck it. Or the Mr. Nigga's gonna show up in this game. Whoever gonna win this game is gonna be like, I'm Mr. Nigga, and I'm putting my stamp on this series. It's either gonna be Haliburton or it's gonna be SGA. That's my main points for that. I don't think everything is just so even based off of the team. I think asking another player for Indiana to score 20 is nuts because it's not going to happen because you don't know where it's coming from, so you can't say it's going to happen. And then for the Thunder, you can say the same thing. I think I'm done waiting on Jalen Williams to show up. I think I'm done on waiting Chet Holmgren to show up. They young. They figure it out somehow, some way. But SGA is like, nigga, I'm 3 games away from winning it all.
FIFA.
OKC, their mindset needs to be control the pace, win the race. If they control the pace of the game, they will win the entire series because they play better. They play a better half-court game than Indy does, and they can run with Indy. So if they control the pace, they'll win the game. And for Indiana, they got to play with purpose. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes they've looked lost. Even in that comeback winning game 1, like it was what everybody's saying is like, okay, where the points coming from? Where's this? Where's that? Play with purpose. And it doesn't always mean that you have to be overly aggressive or you have to play out of character, but the moves that you make, the passes that you make need to lead to the buckets. They need to get back to getting easy buckets. So if they play with purpose, they have a chance.
Nimwit needs to stop acting like, he the guy. I mean, he was an issue in game 2, bro. I don't know what he's out there doing. He had one good moment, and then he just tried to replicate that for 4 quarters, and it didn't work. Look, for Indy, it's simple. Like, Haliburton, he has to have an impact on the game somehow, some way. Because Rick Carlisle, we know, will find an adjustment somewhere. He's the coach. I don't know where he's going to find it, but he's going to find it. And but Haliburton still has to find a way to, when his team is struggling, he has to go get buckets. Now, he's not a scorer like that, but you can't be stat padding at the end of the game to make it look like you had, bro. for people that didn't watch it.
This the remix, baby.
It's always at the same point.
This damn because this computer is busted, man. I might have to switch to it probably lock up on me. But anyway, yeah, man. Even though they won game one, OKC has looked like the dominant team in both of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And if this continues, Indy might not get another one.
Yeah.
But they got to figure out a way to unlock everybody, because with them it's death by 1,000 cuts. But right now it's a lot of gauze out on the court. You know, that shit ain't working, bro. So yeah, man, I think they got everything under control. You know, they're scrambling all over the place. They pretty much got Indiana on lock. Nick SGA gonna get his. Yeah,
I believe that, but the fact that Rick Carlisle says something that sounds like it's a compliment, but it sounds like I've been working on something and I gotta pull it out for game 3. When he was like, you could chalk up what do you say, FIFA 34 points off coming off the plane. And it's like, when a head coach say that, it's like that don't sound good for you to allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it sounds like, okay, I'm aware that he can get busy and he's been getting busy, so I got to slow that down, because all them other niggas ain't been showing up like how we talked about. So if you slow down SGA to get 25 instead of 30 plus,
that's going to be tough though.
I'm just saying if he could, I mean, at this point, FIFA, he got to throw everything out, because this game 3 is about as big as normally they say game 5 is the big game, but game 3 is like who gonna decide the series in my opinion.
It is. This is the most important game.
So I don't disagree, and this is the reason why I was saying in game 2 I would have put Siakam, and even parts of game 1. To me, Siakam on SGA would be part of the game plan. Obviously, not the entire game, but in spots where we need critical stops. Because the thing is, somebody shorter than him, he's gonna bump him. You know what I'm saying? Create space and elevate, and the jumper's too easy. You need a guy that's a little bit lankier that can absorb the bump and then still contest at a high rate. And to me, the only player that they have on that roster that can do something like that is Siakam.
But then if you do that, obviously we know how he is with the refs. You know, SGA got stock and they pension. That's going to put Siakam in foul trouble. And then that takes the only other player that you could count on that can get you 20 points.
Nick, but listen to the words that I'm using. I said in moments when you need a stop. I'm not saying the entire game. I'm not saying that this is your primary this is your primary assignment. I'm not saying that, because he will get him in foul trouble.
Well,
but when you need a stop, you know what I'm saying, and critical out of timeouts, right? We saw Indiana make a run in the third quarter, right? OKC called the timeout, and what did OKC do? They came back and had their own run. Out of that timeout, if I'm Rick Carlisle, I'm putting Tyrese Haliburton, or I'm putting Siakam on SGA. And it's like, hey, we have a run. Let's see if we can get an extra stop or two. Let's not let them execute out of that timeout, and let's continue our run. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's this. OKC is just a better team. And the people that need to figure it out is Indiana, because they don't have the personnel that truly matches up with them. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have to play out of their mind. And Ken, you know, you mentioned I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but Nembhard, you know, yeah, he had a really good game 1. And you asked me, I want to say in game 2, or it might have been in game 1 when we were watching it live, like what was the moment? And to me, his 3 was that moment where it was like, oh, wait, hold on, they're not out of here. And being a role player, Ken, all you can rely on them to do is 1 or 2 games in the series. You got one good game out of Nembhard. Now, is it going to be game 3, game 4? You're going to need at least one more, but they need the others to step up. 00, you know I'm bad with names. He needs to have he needs to have a better game beginning to end, not just a spurt. Miles Turner, Miles Turner needs to have a big game. Obi Toppin had a good game. We can only expect one more from him in this series, but Miles Turner needs to have a good game. Siakam needs to have like, oh shit, like I was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP game. Tyrese Haliburton needs to have a game. So the Pacers still have life, but that's why they got to play with purpose.
Who's to blame for game 2 loss? Rick Carlisle or Haliburton?
Haliburton. He didn't show up. He only had like 14 and 6 when they was really losing. He made a pad his stats lately, but
and 3 points at halftime. 3 and 3 at half.
Yeah, see, that's insane. And I know people will say he's not a superstar, and that's fine. He ain't got to be a superstar, but you're the best player on the finals team. I need more than 3 points and then 14 at the end. Like that's like, I know he's a traditional point guard and he tries to get everybody else involved, but at some point in time, there has to be a level of aggressiveness as the best player on the team. And he wasn't showing that. We gave Ant shit last round for the same thing. Like when you're at this level and you're
type of player though.
Same role though.
Still the same thing.
Same role.
It's
a different type of player, but it's the same role. You can't.
Okay,
either one of them.
You talk about
both of those roles are going to require some type of aggressiveness in the sense of you need to be putting points on the board. If that's Haliburton really pressing, that's fine. If you're really pressing the basket, getting in the lane and creating better shots for somebody, then do that. He wasn't doing that. The only reason I brought Ant up because we said the same thing about him last time.
Right.
The aggressiveness may look different, FIFO. I do agree with you there, but still there has to be more aggressiveness in that top spot on a playoff team. Yeah, this late. Yeah.
See, and when I was thinking about this topic, right, I didn't want to use the word aggressive because aggression looks different depending on the type of player that you are. And with Indiana, it's not a lack of aggression in my estimation. It's more, it doesn't look purposeful. It doesn't look like, okay, we're going here to attack there. We're doing this to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like it's just up in the air. And that game 1 win was essentially like that. They were just in striking distance. You know what I'm saying? SGA missed a big shot and Indiana made a bigger shot. But they need to play with purpose. I don't think the right word is aggression because their best player isn't necessarily aggressive by nature. And he doesn't have to be aggressive for them to be good. They have to be purposeful. They have to know when to push the pace, even off of makes. Even if pushing the ball doesn't result in a layup or an and one or a foul or something like that. Play with purpose. And it's not aggression, in my opinion, because aggression means, like when I think of aggression, I see Russell Westbrook. That's aggression. He plays with reckless abandon. Yeah. In Indiana against OKC, you can't play recklessly. You can't play with abandon with them because they will make you pay. You have to play strategically. This has to be a scalpel, not a butcher knife.
Well, Rick Carlisle. Go ahead, Spike.
I was just going to say there are different types of aggression. Just like you brought up Westbrook, I could bring up LeBron. LeBron can play the same way aggressively that Haliburton should be able to play as the top player in their team. LeBron plays aggressive, right?
Huh? We totally comping LeBron.
I mean, you gave a mold of somebody. You're right. Haliburton don't fit that mold of Westbrook. He shouldn't be doing that. We would all say he's crazy.
Not LeBron.
He went out there and did that. That's his skill set, though. That's his skill set to get up involved and to get easy buckets.
Bro, LeBron is 6'8", 250, chase down block guy. Like
I'm not saying he's LeBron, FIFO. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the same style of play.
What about like Chris Paul?
There's more Chris Paul. You got to think.
Fair.
Look.
That's with Chris Paul. We know when he's being aggressive. When he getting you in that pick and roll and he throwing the oop, or he kicking it out to the wing. We see when he's being aggressive.
But it's purposeful. Like I'll give you the perfect game. It was against Milwaukee, I want to say, and I want to say he went 14 out of 14. 14 out of 14 from the field. That was purposeful. Every spot that he got to was purposeful. This is my spot. You're not going to stop me from getting to this spot. You know what I'm saying? We're going to play pick and roll. I want to say he had less than 2 turnovers that game. And we've seen Haliburton play multiple games now with 0 turnovers and over 15 assists. That's purposeful basketball. That's not necessarily aggressive. is purposeful. I'm more so trying to convey the fact that this needs to be a scalpel. Like they have to be precise against OKC.
Q. We've seen 2 games. ND. We had Haliburton in game 1 and Halibum.
Y'all being so disrespectful.
And Halibum in game 2. What's one thing that each team can do to win game 3?
OKC just got to keep playing the same type of defense that got them there. I think Chet had a great rebound game. I think that finally, on the offensive side, because the defensive side for Chet is not in question. SGA, he keeps doing what he's doing. He's steady. He's not the reason why they lost game 1 either, but that's a whole different story. Jalen Williams, they had a much better game too. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the bench, after the first quarter, they got in control. And for Indiana, the thing that killed them to me was the Thomas Bryant minutes were very brutal. I don't understand why every time he was called for a foul, he kept acting like he didn't have his hands all over Hardenstein or, Chet. I feel like his minutes were really bad. I would have liked to have seen maybe some Tony Bradley minutes into half of those minutes, honestly. Bradley's not terrible, but those minutes stuck out to me as a big reason why. I think they were a minus 18 or 19 when Haliburton got off the floor and they put in Thomas Bryant. TJ McConnell didn't get into his groove. So if you're Indiana, I think you gotta hope that the role players play better at home. I think that they're going to settle in a little bit. And Haliburton has to be way more aggressive those first 3 quarters. I think that the coaching staff should get him involved off ball personally. A lot of what he does is not ball dominant in the sense that he's just pounding the rock. Like, it's not like Jalen Brunson in certain possessions when you have a coach who's just telling you, yo, just make something happen. But it's too much sometimes where I want to see him get looks cut into the basket. I want to see him become more of a weapon where he can spot up in the corner or come down off of a pick, something, because I think he has enough range to do that. And I think that he does train like that as well. So I think he could be a 3-point shooter in that sense and then open up the game for other guys. Siakam, that's going to be the key for them in terms of the minutes when Haliburton's off the floor. And overall, just the transition defense killed them. Beyond that, if they can sew those things up, it'll be a close game. I think Rick Carlisle, he's kind of a coach that likes to coach these games like prize fights where, everyone's picking OKC as like the undisputed champs, right? You just got to get to the last round and be in the position for the judge to make a decision. And by that, I mean Haliburton or SGA. That's got to be the clutch moment. Who's going to clutch up and send it home? So if you're Indiana, you hope for that. If you're OKC, just keep playing what you did in game 2 and be ready for their best punch.
Q, I got 2 things for you. One, I do agree with Rob Costa. You do look like a Force Ghost with your Eagles background. You like the first thing that died in the Republic. Secondly,
that's fair.
How the hell is the shot in game 1 on an SGA?
Because basketball is not about one shot. Simple and plain. I gave you a 1-sentence answer. Basketball is not about one shot.
We don't simplify it like that. Like it's just
you just asked him to simplify.
You act like that's a casual question. You don't give it a casual response. The niggas, Ken, the game was getting out of hand at that point. They had a big lead and they gave it up. And at that point, it was like niggas need to start making shots for us to continue to win this game, even though they were still up. The nigga was in his what FIFO mentioned it before he left. That he probably wanted to go put another do-rag on. He was.
It's crazy.
That's his spot. That's his spot.
You missed it.
Is that not Ken? Is it not Lou? Is it not Shelton? That's his spot. He's the mid-range king right now.
He
won an MVP off of that, right?
Missed
it. The game is on the line. Well, yeah, basically, essentially, the game is on the line because if I make this shot, then we win. Because at worst case scenario, Haliburton pulls up for a 3 and they tie, so they go to OP.
And they can still lose.
But more than likely, we was gonna win that game.
That's a lot of ifs.
Because I'm saying they drove him off the 3-point line. He took the shot. My thing is, if he I'm curious to see if it does get to the point where you're talking about where Indiana can win it. Will he show up? Because this is his first finals too. We over here acting like these niggas been here before. Ain't none of these niggas been here before. So we're seeing the first of a lot of things. So I'm interested if it is like they're up by a lot of points, because I do think they play good defense to be up. And then Indiana keeps chipping away at it. And then we're back to a game where it comes down to 3 to 4 points, 2 possessions. You would have to lean to Haliburton, right? As far as who's more clutch between the two right now.
I think that Haliburton is just one of the most clutch players in the NBA. So, yeah, I mean.
I'm just saying, but you say he's more clutch than SGA. You would believe that if you had to bet money.
Yeah, if you give me a 1-to-1 player from what I've seen, yeah, for sure.
All right, so the SGA has a lot to prove in that moment still.
I mean, depends on the context of the moment. If SGA, the
context is the finals, nigga, that's what this game.
I mean, it's all about game to game, and it's all about how much do they need you to hit the shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they need you to hit the shot, bro, and you miss it because of the game you've had all game, and they need you to come through now, then it depends. And by that, I mean, like, if you're stinking it up, like Haliburton was stinking it up in game 1. He redeemed that game 1 by hitting that shot. And you see how I'm not saying we overrate clutch. I'm saying that we overstate clutch, because clutch is all just an amalgamation of the events that lead up to it. So when we say that SGA lost the games, I'm not saying you said this, but I know a lot of casual fans, or just, even presumed hardcore NBA fans, will say he lost the game for them. I just don't agree with that. As a role player, if I have missed all of my shots and coaches, if I'm Jalen Williams and coach is running plays for me and I'm stinking it up, I'm not looking at SGA and be like, bro, come on. Like, nah, bro. I'm looking at myself and man, bro, I fucking missed 6 easy, wide open shots. I missed a layup. I missed 2 free throws, and we lost by 2 points. I can't put that on SGA and be like, damn, bro, you got to bail me out. Nah, bro, it's a team game, and I got to take accountability. Chet got to take accountability. Everybody. And
I'm saying this. We looking at it from 2 perspectives of the same coin, because you say he didn't lose him the game. I'm saying he ain't win it. You know what I'm saying? He could have won it and he didn't. And right now, if we going into game 3, a pivotal game, which we probably expect to be close because it's Indiana at home, is it right? Shelton, Indiana's at home, right?
Yeah.
So you would think they're gonna come out, at least the role players gonna come out balling because they know how pivotal this game is. Right now, we've already seen in this final series already, early in, that if it come down to a clutch shot, we know a nigga who made it or who can make it, and we know a nigga who can miss it. To me, that says OKC has to blow them out for them to show their dominance in the series. Because when they win by a lot. But when they lose in a way that's like, damn, nigga, you could have won it.
A lot. It's a lot of ifs in that, and I feel like I could say the same thing that, oh man, SJ hits the shot, Haliburton goes down, gets fouled, and won +3. And now they win on a free throw. So but that's the whole reason I'm saying. But that wouldn't be on. That's what I'm saying. That wouldn't be on SGA. I wouldn't be thinking. I would think about that. So it shouldn't be on SGA that he missed the shot when other teammates of his have also been fucking up, have also been not converting on turnovers. It's not just one shot. Like, I could see if SGA had a terrible game and then, all right, bro, redeem yourself. This is one moment. All right, cool. You didn't come through in a big leverage moment and you didn't perform. But if my teammate, if I'm a role player, if I'm the 4th most important team on OKC and my star has 38 and he's killing, and then it comes down to the fact that he needs to hit one shot and he misses, the coach is going to call us in the locker room and, yo, tough shot, bro, appreciate it. But, hey, all y'all sit down. We had 24 turnovers. How many points did we get off of this? You didn't hit your layups. You didn't hit your free throws. You're not hitting your picks the way you should. You're not setting your screens properly. You missed 2 layups. I can't look at my star and then be like, I mean, come on, bro, it's on you. Nah, bro, that's bullshit.
They lost by 2 points. Yeah, they didn't lose by.
Okay, cool. How many other shots could have been those 2 points? Don't put your star in that position to play Superman. That's all I'm saying.
I know we may have to move on, but Q, do you equally grade players on a basketball team when it comes to the NBA? You think a starting five has equal? You think a starting 5 has equal responsibility when it comes to that team, like in their unit?
I think that when you have a number 2 like Jalen Williams, you have to then look at him also and be like, bro, where were you? Chet, where were you? Hardenstein, where were you?
Why I'm asking that is because at the end of the game, we're putting it into our best players' hands. We all recognize that SGA is the best player on OKC with their starting 5, right? So and then also we scheme up plays that he does the best at, which are mid-range, turnaround 3 or shots or mid-range in general.
Okay.
he had a good look in a clutch. If he hit that shot, I'm looking at SGA different. I'm not saying that I think he trash and I think he's not clutch. I'm just not betting on it right now because I've seen him in that situation. And it's like, I thought you would do this because you're the MVP. But this nigga who ain't even a superstar did what you just didn't do.
And
that says something to me.
Yeah, I think we can close it out, but it's like I think that's a separate point. And if that's your point on how you view him after the shot, fine. Like, cool, he might not be as clutch as you think. But from a basketball perspective, like all 12 guys in the locker room and the coach is breaking down film, nobody in a serious organization is gonna be like, come on, SGA. You like, no, they're gonna tell him, hey, bro, you make that shot all the time in practice, you'll hit the next one. More importantly, though, hey, you guys missing free throws, you guys missing layups, you guys missing open threes in the corner. We shouldn't even have our star in a position where he got to play Batman because we have 24 turnovers. Come on,
that's
guys.
why he the star.
But then you see game 2, they come out and they spanking shit. So it's different now, and now you adjust to what you should have done in game 1. You should have closed out. Shouldn't have come down to that. That's all I'm saying.
Hey Nick, I thought it was funny, and I wish you would have remembered this the night of that conversation, because FIFO was talking about, oh man, it don't always come down to one play. It don't come down to one play. It don't come down to one play. It's the whole game. But I remember when he lost the Super Bowl. And I remember one text he said,
who?
He was like, that fumble in the third quarter was the game. That sounds like it came down to one play to me.
Bro, we need, hey, don't bring football out of the basketball game. Because shit get real simple when you do that. That's why I had to make this a macro conversation about SGA's clutchness. Because if you would have asked me flat up, Sheldon, that nigga lost the game. All right, I'm trying to make it seem like he ain't win the game, but he lost it.
When it came down to clutch, has he made a clutch basket yet, though?
He hasn't had to. Because they blow when they win, they win. That's what I'm saying.
He hasn't had a moment.
That's what I'm thinking. He's gonna have to have a moment.
I just think clutch is overstated. It's not overrated, but it's overstated because it's all normally if you gotta be clutch, either your team is ass or your team be giving up crazy leads, or your team has to always claw themselves back from getting beat down. And I don't want teams like that.
Or you just good with the game on the line.
Sometimes, but the thing is though, is that how often, of course, Jordan hit a lot of clutch shots, but Jordan was also had more games where it was up 30 and up 25 to go into the fourth quarter than he had to hit.
But we know he could hit the shot though.
That's fine. That's fine. But the thing is though, is that in the moment that we're judging Jordan, even if the nigga missed the shot, I still would look at him like a great player. I'm not saying that he lost the game. Like, I look at it as in totality. Like, I'm not just going to put it all on one guy's shoulders.
I don't think anybody, and we'll close it out, I don't think anybody's saying SGA isn't a good player. I think we just,
I'm not saying y'all saying that either.
Discuss just the moment. Yeah. But we'll be back. We got more NBA talk right after this quick break.
If you're looking for real conversations and motivations to be your best, then you have to check out Another Week in the Books. Another Week in the Books with Spike, Lou, and Rich is your go-to podcast for growth and community. Plenty of dope conversations take place week to week as they inspire each other to be better through conversations. Another Week in the Books, wherever you get your podcast.
The New York Knicks shocked the NBA world when they fired Tom Thibodeau after he served as their head coach for 5 seasons, 4 of which led to playoff appearances, 2 back-to-back 50-win seasons, and an appearance in this year's Eastern Conference Finals, something that hadn't been done since the turn of the century. After having some time to think about this move, what are the expectations for the Knicks going into next season, and which coach would you recommend to lead them in that pursuit?
Seems like it's championship or bust, right? Because Tom Thibodeau drove the car as far as he can go, and they damn near got to the exit, but they just ran out of gas. So for me, whoever they bring in, whether it's Jason Kidd that they've asked to be able to interview, whether it's Mike Malone, which is also a New York guy, it's championship or bust. Ain't no, let's just make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, this, then, the third. Also, they're talking about making another big trade this offseason to make the roster even better. So if those two things happen, it's literally championship or bust. Boston is out the way now with their best player being hurt. He's not going to be there for the majority of the season. Philly's a dumpster fire. The East is relatively wide open. Detroit is still unproven, still on the up and up. So for me, New York has to look at this opportunity like, okay, if we're knocking on the door, like we got to tear down the door next season, and that's it.
I think Malone is the only coach that's acceptable to replace Thibodeau after how far he took you. I'm not having conversations with Jason Kidd, who hasn't won anything, just to get honest. I'm not having conversations with other coaches that haven't won championships. The best coach on the market is from New York. He's on the market. Like, you should only fire Thibodeau with the plan of Mike Malone is coming in.
Let me ask you this one thing, Lou. What if you know from a reliable source that Giannis says, I'll publicly state I want to go to the Knicks if Jason Kidd is the head coach?
What I got to give up?
I'm just saying that's what fuck all that shit. If Giannis said I'm coming to the Knicks, it don't matter what
Jason Kidd is your head coach.
Outside of Brunson, nigga, fuck everybody else.
Yeah,
I don't like
Giannis,
that. That ain't championship or bust. Giannis is a great addition to add, but let's say we lose our whole bench.
They don't have a bench now.
You have a bench now.
My point exactly. So now I'm that starting five that was so cohesive and working together. I got to give up 3 of those people to get Giannis here. So now I got Giannis, Brunson, and whoever left. And I'm expecting Jason Kidd to do something with that.
I think a lot of people would go to New York though. A lot of people go to New York though because they just want to play with Giannis and a lot of mid-level exceptions, and they got contracts to move as well. But see, the thing is though is that this picture has become a lot more muddy, especially today with Giannis doing his interview. I think he was talking about how like he wants to stay in Milwaukee. That's not, to me, that's death if you're the Knicks, because the whole offseason should be centered around Malone and getting Giannis here. I don't really see. There was a lot that had to happen. Of course, the Knicks could repeat or get better for sure under Malone, even if they keep all the same pieces. But I just feel like lightning doesn't strike twice. You know what I mean? I think that the Pacers last year, they got hurt against Boston and they flamed out. They come back this year healthy, and there's a progression here. The Knicks get to the front step and they trip. You know what I'm saying? Because I think of a lot of things we spoke about last week with, how players are used and just Tibbs as an overall coach, the macro picture of his career. We get that. But if you're the Knicks and you're out of a Giannis sweepstakes because he just, he loves Milwaukee so much, like, all right, cool, that's great. But then you're talking about Jason Kidd as well. That just sounds like dysfunction again, coming back to the Big Apple, and I'm not here for any of that. So if we have to try to change Giannis's tune, and we have to try to get Mike Malone here at all costs. I'm not trying to hear Jason Kidd and then bringing in like Clint Capella as a backup and then trading a couple contracts for a shooter. Like, nah, dog, that's not doing it for me personally.
So I'm gonna put more respect on Jason Kidd's name. But I won't disagree that I don't think that that's what takes him over the top. I think it is a lateral move from Thibodeau to Kidd. I don't think Kidd takes you over the top. I think Malone does.
For me,
you don't think Tibbs a better coach than Kidd?
No, not today. Not in today's basketball.
For me, it really doesn't matter, man. Y'all, we talking about the coach part, but we need to be focusing on what's on the court. If they don't make moves off the court, then they're going to take a step back. I think that what we saw from Detroit was a precursor for what was to come for them. They are ascending. They're not going to stay in the same place. I'm not going to say Cleveland is necessarily ascending. I just think Cleveland will be more of a threat next year. New York will not win with the roster. They had a great run this year. They really, really did, but I still don't believe in Cat. I never have, never will. We know what everybody else is around Brunson. We know Brunson is that guy. But the other guys, I'm not sold on any of them except for Mikal Bridges. In at times, he plays good. But other than that, those guys need some work, man. So you got to figure out a way to get Giannis there. That's the biggest thing for me. If I was a Knicks person, is to get Giannis in the building, and then you build from out. We'll figure out the coach thing later. Coaches come and go, but that's what's going to be the difference. The coach is not going to make a championship difference right now for that team.
I'm interested in the guy they're talking about. What's his name? Q? Is it Johnny Bryant?
Yeah.
I'm interested in I don't want to retread. I don't want to go back to Mike Malone because he's basically a slim version with better hair. Tom Thibodeau. He does have a title, but he had literally one of the greatest centers of all time to do that. We don't have that on our team. So we have a good center. He's not an all-timer, but I'm with whoever said it. But I think we got to go in the Giannis sweepstakes. It's the Knicks. They always do this, so might as well keep up with tradition. Try to get him. Don't obviously give up everybody but Brunson, and then we can figure out the coach down in the back, down the line. Because like Sheldon said, bro, if you can't keep your job after winning 50 games and going to the Eastern Conference Finals, why the fuck are we even wasting time trying to figure out who can coach these motherfuckers? We just need to get the motherfucker in the room, and whoever they like is like, all right, man, cool. We'll pay you about $20-30 million a year anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Nick, what if they want Brunson?
We don't do that. Don't even wish that
Ken,
on
that's
my
not. Come on, man.
Don't even wish
You're not
They talked about it.
No, they
Why not?
didn't. Don't wish that.
What do you
I don't
mean?
wish that on nobody.
Brunson is the reason why you even are able. You're in the Giannis sweepstakes. You can't trade the reason why you're even in the Giannis sweepstakes for Giannis.
I thought you were talking about his daddy being the coach.
That's what I thought you were talking about the daddy being the coach too.
I'm like, not trade Brunson.
Trading Brunson, yeah.
Oh, trade Brunson.
It's
Nick,
a non-starter at that point.
I don't know what
Nick,
he's
so Giannis,
next topic. Jalen, cut his
Giannis isn't worth Brunson.
No,
Ken, that's not what we're saying.
Here y'all go.
I know Ken is just being super messy right now. Ken, you don't have a championship team if you don't have Brunson. And then
yes, you do. Why not? You have Giannis.
Giannis
has done what Brunson hasn't done.
Giannis he's gonna be the motor to the vehicle because you can't drive it, but it's everything else is what Brunson has brought. Like he's everything else. He's the wheels, all that shit. Giannis is the motor. Like you're not getting nowhere without those two. You need those two pieces to go. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? FIFA's more of a car guy than me, but it's like they're two key pieces for this vehicle to get from point A to point B.
I was gonna say
your analogy's on point.
You feel me?
Giannis is the car, Brunson is the key. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Like
either
need
one.
each other to help each other out. One is probably more valuable.
Giannis is the engine. Brunson is the transmission.
You feel me?
From first to second to third because of Brunson.
They got campaign.
He's trolling, bro.
I'd rather have Martin Payne on my team.
But this is a very pivotal moment for New York basketball fans because if you fumble this, your window could. I'm not speaking.
Can you knock on something before you say all that?
I'm not speaking it into existence. I'm just like the NBA. With the second apron, the whole reason why these aprons matter when we're not just talking about cooking, but the reason why these things matter is because the NBA wants shorter windows. They want people to strike as soon as they have talent. They want to manufacture people to become winners as soon as they can. When they notice that they have a great star like Jalen Brunson came, gave him the extension, and he took the pay cut, right? Hometown hero, everyone loves him for that. You can probably never trade him for the next 2 seasons, barring a crazy injury because of that. And the reason why the second aprons are so hard to, get around now is because I think the NBA wants, you see these finals now with Indiana and OKC. They want teams that when they're in the window, strike. Otherwise, you're going to get penalized and you're going to get poached for your talent. So this is the moment now.
Let me say this. I think with the way the finals are looking ratings-wise, I think they don't give a damn about OKC or Indiana after this year. So we'll see how that go. But and Adam Silver can say whatever the hell he want to say. But last thing I have for you guys before we move on, what does a reasonable trade package look like for Giannis to get?
You literally give him a blank check besides Brunson. Like, hey, who do you want?
And Cat. I would want to.
I know Cat's included. I know Cat's included. You got to go.
The reason why FIFA.
Who else with Cat?
People are really. I feel like you have to include Cat because if you're Milwaukee, I don't think you just want to outright tank. I think you want assets back. If you can get Cat and then maybe 1 or 2 first-round picks, another player for whoever else, you're probably gonna have to send somebody with Giannis as well. It's gonna end up being a Kuzma for his contract, or Brook Lopez. I think he's up for extension.
What I would. Oh, hold on for you. Let me say. Honestly, what I would do, I'll do McBride, Bridges, Cat, a couple second round picks for Giannis.
You're gonna have to come
It's
off.
gonna.
That's gonna gut. I know that's gonna. That may sound like. I'm just saying, like that's how much. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm gonna be like, okay, you will at least kept me on the line. I'm not saying
it's gonna be Cat, OG, and 2 first.
Nah, I can't give up OG.
You're gonna have
to. I think that you're gonna have to get a 13.
I'm only saying Bridges because Bridges contract is
up next year.
They're not gonna want Bridges.
I think that you're gonna need a 13.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Q. I think you're gonna need a 13, and Mikal Bridges is gonna have to be part of that move. And from a Bucks perspective, not necessarily like, oh, we want to keep him and re-up. No, you're gonna acquire him and then ship his ass back out. So there's gonna be another team that's gonna want Mikal Bridges that you can flip for other, future assets in terms of draft picks. But I definitely think it's gonna be a 3-team trade. If I'm New York, I'm not giving up Cat or Brunson. You can have everything else. OG occupies the same space as Giannis. He could go. Mikal Bridges as well. Everybody else can go. And here's the thing. And I understand that the big three, the way that the tax is set up in the league, it's unfavorable. But I think that if I'm New York, I have to try to keep Cat. Like I have to. It's a must.
It's not a must. It's not a must.
It's you know why it's a must? It's a must with Giannis on the squad because you want a big that can stretch the floor that can play opposite of Giannis, which is the reason why he gave Brook Lopez so many more extra years in the league. Number one, he took his game to the 3-point line, but number two, it allows Giannis to be Giannis. You get rid of Cat. You playing with Mitchell Robinson?
They're playing the same position though, FIFO. Giannis, yes.
Cat, either one of them could play small ball 5. Either one of them, and they could play together. Their games are complementary.
Are y'all not veering away from the current trend though? Talking about going to get Giannis, we looking at Indiana, who didn't make any. Well, they brought Pascal Siakam in, but most of their talent's homegrown. OKC is 12 deep. They didn't make any trade. Most of the talent is homegrown drafting. Why would the Knicks waste their time on a Giannis sweepstakes if we don't even know that's happening?
Because
versus let's build on the squad that we got.
Every team that you're talking about, or for the most part, are small market teams. Small market teams have to do that because no free agent is going there. I don't want to necessarily get traded there, and I'm not choosing to go there either. The Paul George situation was a little different. Obviously, he was coming off an injury and all of this type of other stuff, and OKC had the assets to pull that off, right? And they also got Carmelo Anthony on that same squad. That's an anomaly. That doesn't happen often. These smaller market teams, Indiana, OKC, Milwaukee, who is gonna say, yeah, bro, I want to go live in Milwaukee for half the year?
Giannis, and even more so,
he was
even more so than that too. Like you said, they got that Hawks fever where you win too many games to draft in the position of where you can build like that. You can't build that way if you're one of those teams like New York. New York is winning; they're gonna be in the playoffs, so there's no way they're gonna get that guy that's gonna be a game changer in the draft. You're gonna have to get him on free.
Or just like Indiana, you fleece a bad organization of a Tyrese Haliburton.
All right, I was just trying to get a picture of what the Knicks will look like after the trade to see if it will be enough to win a title, not get to the playoffs. And that's what
they got expectations are for the title. There's no after you do moves like this. That's why I'm saying you might as well go for Giannis, because it's like if we got to guarantee a title, he's the only person that I can say with him and Brunson. I'm like, okay, y'all have a chance to get in the title this season.
It's New York, so you just got to go for the gusto, man. Like it really matters just for the branding.
Giving up on the Villanova Knicks already. 1 year.
It's the NBA, Ken. It's not college.
Hey, man. Starter wives.
Okay. We'll be back after this quick break with We Need to Talk. And then we got some NFL talk, man. So stay tuned.
If you are a fan of gaming, then you need to check out Dead End Gaming. Dead End Gaming brings you honest reviews, hilarious moments, and deep dives into the conversations take place in the industry. No sugarcoating, just real gamers gaming. Check out Dead End Gaming, the world's most dangerous gaming crew, on Twitch or YouTube. Just look for Dead End Gaming ATL. That's Dead End Gaming ATL.
On watch, man. Hey, we need to talk. Same thing. Hey, I was gonna switch it up because we covered it a little bit because I hadn't looked at the notes yet, but I'm gonna keep it the same. And the reason why I am is because the person I'm thinking about is Tyrese Haliburton, but not for why you may think. It is just about him being a superstar. We had this discussion a week ago, and a lot of us were talking about him in these glowing terms when we talked about all the things he's done and the plays he's making. We talk about these clutch moments. And the conversation came up about, was he a superstar? I think the room was about half and half. Now, after we watched these two games, the last one in particular, where after 3 quarters, he had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, can we still say with certainty that he's a superstar based off what he's done so far? If you ask me, the answer is no. We can't say it because here we are needing him to make moves and do the things that we just talked about him doing. We're going to need that moment for him during the regular game, not just at the end. We need him to make a move during the game. He played bad in both these first 2 games. Tyrese Haliburton is going to have, Nick used right earlier, he's going to have a 20-point, 30-point game here somewhere. And I know FIFO, he's a true point guard, but he's got to score points. He's got to make plays, and he's got to be aggressive. So Tyrese Haliburton, superstar or no superstar? Right now, I'll say no.
Cool. Gotcha. Hey, I agree. Dwayne Wade, I don't know.
I ain't never thought he was a superstar, so I don't even know why niggas even started talking like that.
A lot of people thought so, man. A lot of people.
No shots. Hitting no shots.
He's
4 game winning shots.
He the light-skinned Robert Horry.
Stop.
That's a good one, Nick.
He the light-skinned Robert Horry.
That's a good one, Nick.
He better than that.
Yeah, he a nigga that we remember for the good times, but we don't remember for the
Reggie Miller.
Huh?
Reggie Miller.
Bro, Reggie Miller ain't never. Never mind.
Don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Let's move on. Let's move on. You said NFL kid.
Yep. But hey, Shelton, Tyrese Haliburton, man, this should come at our party, and unless you're Republican, it should be safe to do so.
Wow.
Moving on to the NFL.
Spikes Adderall.
Finally, god damn, I can talk.
Finally, some niggas that ain't getting paid. Let's get it.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers have finally agreed to terms on a contract that will make Rodgers their starting QB for the 2025-26 season. The 1-year, $13.65 million deal includes $10 million guaranteed and can be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives. What are your expectations for the Steelers now that Rodgers is officially on the team?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. And I despise the move. Can't hate it more. But the Pittsburgh organization, just for the past 4 years, I don't really know who's in charge anymore. I don't really know what's going on. A lot of the fan base that I interact with within Reddit streets, they're all confused. Half of the people think Mike Tomlin is the emperor of Pittsburgh who controls every single decision. He's ruining the franchise. The other half is blaming this on the Rooneys and the fact that they're cheap and they're trying to run the team like it's 1975 still. And that type of confusion from those two camps, it leads me to just not knowing what's going on. So you have, in the last 3 years, the ability and the hope of certain fans to draft young talent. They have not done that. Every single season, preseason, they pick the Steelers to win 5 games. And I think that they're doing that right now as well. The issue is that they're going to probably win 11 games with Aaron Rodgers, and they're probably going to lose in the first round again because they're not really getting younger at key positions, and they're getting older at other key positions. So relying on TJ Watt and Cam Hayward to win you 5 games again, with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's better than Russell Wilson as a passer right now, if not on par. But I just hate the move because I just don't know who's in charge.
On par, I think when you say Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, I think they on par. What the reason this is a bad move for the Steelers is because we had that essentially in place last year. And even if you wanted to take a step down and see what Justin Fields give you and sign him to a discount contract like the Jets did, you're still in a better position than you are with a 1 year of Aaron Rodgers. Like the benefit of the doubt is being given to Aaron Rodgers to think that he can come in and take my team here and we may possibly make a deep playoff run before TJ Watt gets too old. Like, it's ridiculous. There's nothing that's been shown from Aaron Rodgers for the last 5 years that would say, oh man, he can take us deep in the playoffs and possibly win a Super Bowl. So
it's not individually.
It's
true. Not 5 years.
So individually, team, however you want to paint it. Aaron Rodgers is not a dude that you've seen it play in the last 5 years. You can say, man, he might come in and possibly win as a superstar. That's insane.
I will say
exactly. They give him the benefit of the doubt because of his history.
That's it.
Okay, but at the end of the day, that's respect earned. That's number one. Number two,
hold
on.
Where did Russell Wilson lose that respect? Where did Russell Wilson lose that respect?
Russell Wilson lost that respect when he was still with the franchise that drafted him. When they threw the ball at the goal line, when you have somebody named Marshawn Lynch, that's when they lost respect.
Stop! You can't blame that on Russell.
I'm not blaming it on Russell. I'm not blaming that on Russell. What I'm saying is they lost respect for Russell Wilson for throwing that interception. And his career has been a downhill trajectory ever since. That's number one. Number two is that with the Steelers, the mindset, and here's the thing, I'm not pro Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers because I feel like this is not a long-term solution. And ever since Ben Roethlisberger has retired, they haven't been able to find the incumbent. That's the overarching issue. Aaron Rodgers doesn't solve that. But the idea is if we're in one of the toughest divisions in football, we don't have losing seasons, and we feel that we're literally a quarterback away from making a run, I can see logically from their standpoint why this makes sense for them. Again, I'm with y'all because even if Aaron Rodgers does something good, right? Like let's say they make the AFC Championship game. You bring Aaron Rodgers back? And how long are you going to do that for? Because that's not that you don't have a long runway there. You know what I'm saying? The reason why that the Steelers have become the Steelers in modern era is because you drafted Ben Roethlisberger. And Ben Roethlisberger got you to 2 championships. You need to find the heir apparent. And that's their issue, that they haven't drafted, groomed, or brought in a guy that has enough runway. Now, the reports are that they wanted to keep Justin Fields, but if I was Justin Fields, I wouldn't want to stay after they treated me how they treated me. You know what I'm saying? Really? I started, we won, then you brought in you started Russell Wilson over me. So I'm out.
Justin Fields, Justin don't got that much leeway to be like, I don't want to be here. He should votes him, actually.
Yeah, and there was draft picks tied to that too. But FIFO, bringing up what you said, you talked about Russell Wilson losing respect at that game. Well, when did Aaron Rodgers, what has he done since then himself in that same amount of time? He hadn't done anything.
He said 5 years. He said 5 years. So
go back to Green Bay.
Yeah, you can even go back.
All I'm saying is that he hasn't lost respect in the league.
Why he should? What is he doing?
If you're gonna tell me that Russell Wilson lost respect on that Super Bowl play, if you're gonna tell me that and then tell me that Aaron Rodgers has lost no respect, it's something crazy going on right there.
The one thing that we think about when we think about Aaron Rodgers is when he ain't been back to a Super Bowl. And every time you think about him, you think about the off-field distraction that he's become in these last few years. He's done more from that than he has on the football field. Also, we talk about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is not one player away. They don't even have a starting running back. You just traded away your number 2 receiver. You're long in the tooth on defense. They got a lot of weaknesses on that team.
I would say Shelton though is like, I think this may be right. Y'all can easily correct me if I'm wrong. There's only 4 quarterbacks right now that got a Super Bowl. It's Rodgers, Patty, Stafford, and Hurts. So if that's the case, meaning that like they're the only ones who got experience, who have like deep postseason experience. Everybody else from the niggas who we saying is better than Aaron Rodgers have probably not even yet to make it to a Super Bowl.
Russell Wilson.
So
let's
have 5. So it's 5. So Russell
let's just do Flacco. Yeah, Flacco. Let's just do Super Bowl appearances in the last.
Flacco barely in the league. He about to get cut.
I mean, shit. He probably won't start. But the Super Bowl appearances to me in the last 7-8 seasons, I'll give that respect. Really 6-7. Honestly, 8 is kind of stretching it. But Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just with the Steelers, there's just like Sheldon is saying, there's too many issues. I don't understand the philosophy that they're building with. I used to have coherence. Like my father's a Steelers fan, so it's like I grew up on like the Shea Townsend. I grew up on Troy Polamalu and Casey Hampton. Like these are real dogs. Like what I'm saying, McFadden, all these people, Ike Taylor. So when I see what the Steelers have become, to me, this just can't be the doing of one coach. Like this just looks like too organizational ineptness to me. It looks like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. It looks like somebody could be having their authority overridden. Somebody could have too much authority, and there's just infighting that we're not hearing. And the reason why I say that is because the Steelers have kept infighting under wraps for so long with different players. Tomlin is the ultimate Band-Aid for Antonio Brown's issues. As long as you go out there and perform, I'll protect you from the media. George Pickens for 3 years. George Pickens was ready to crash out after every game, and Tomlin put his arm around him and said, "Yo, just chill. I got you." Until he can't stop, until he can't protect you anymore. So I feel like if that's how you are with players, there has to be within the brass problems going on.
I'm saying this, Ken. They kicking the can on this shit. They ain't trying to say the real shit. I hate having to do this. That's why I be trying to let y'all talk first. See if somebody gonna stand up. Lou, I know your goofy ass ain't gonna do it. Steelers fucking up. Steelers fucking up.
Oh, so you saying the same thing I said?
Steelers. No, I'm saying it. And
I know why he said it.
This ain't got nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with Mike Tomlin. No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with this move of signing Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers fucking up is because they could have drafted Shador in hella rounds to where they could have played both sides of this, of where like we bring in this young QB who has potential and he can be quote unquote groomed. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he did something with Jordan Love. Jordan Love said he helped him out a few times. So he can give him some advice to help bring him along. So no matter how good or bad the season went, we still got somebody in the wings. Somebody you could have gotten the third or the fourth round. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't even have to reach to get him.
Shit, they could have got him.
And to me, so yeah, that too. So to me, it's just like you didn't do all that to just wait, 2 months longer than you probably could have to sign a 40-year-old drug addict. You know what I'm saying? It's like they fucking up. And y'all keep on trying to say, well, the Steelers, you know what I'm saying? He ain't got no losing record. I'm like, that's fine. But you know what he had right now, Sheldon, he real mid. The Steelers have been real mid for a long time. Meaning that it ain't gonna take you over the top, but it'll do you be all right.
They putting a lot of the burden.
Lou, we been smoking spliffs since 2016.
They putting a lot of the burden on Mike Tomlin being such a good coach, because any other innovative organization, even if you had no plans to draft Shador Sanders, you still can take a flyer on him once he started dropping down in the draft. And now, to you guys' point, at least if he comes in here and plays as well, if people have been reporting he plays in camp, I at least got a flyer on the future. The reason that this Aaron Rodgers decision is so dumb is because, like, I can't remember who just said it. It's just like we're kicking the can down the road. Like, this may be good for, a year, 2 years, possibly. Who knows if, like, we don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back if he does go to an AFC championship game. We don't know how him and Tomlin are going to interact with each other week 8, week 9, week 10, when Aaron Rodgers starts tripping. Shit, even in training camp. We don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is going to come to training camp. He's notorious for that. It's like it's a whole lot of problems that the Steelers are signing up for that just don't seem to be worth it. And if there was somebody that was coherent in the front office, they would have said, you know what, let's go ahead and draft a quarterback.
And
they said they drafted Will Howard.
Right. A lot of the reasons why I thought maybe, one of the reasons why I thought that people could have used excuse for not drafting Shador was the circus that it brings from bringing him on the team. And that would have been a good excuse for Pittsburgh if they had not brought in a bigger circus by signing Aaron Rodgers. So that just jumped from in the frying pan into the fire. And you're not going to be in the arch sweepstakes. You already know that. So what is your plan going forward? Who is the answer? We know it ain't going to happen.
You already know what happened, Shelton. They had too many niggas that was playing quarterback and they ain't do shit. So they said, we can always crack open the good old white man.
What we're all pointing out is that there's no coherence here.
Spike, I thought you were behind this move.
Yeah.
Hell no.
What? Yes, you was.
You know, Spike,
I'm really surprised by your take.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
He didn't like Aaron Rodgers.
That's why I was surprised that you were behind the move.
You was behind it. You defended it the last time we talked about this.
You did?
Yeah, he did.
He was.
That's what I said.
If we're talking about the available options,
he said defended
if y'all talking about, oh, I'm going to take Mason Rudolph into the season versus Aaron Rodgers, yeah, take Aaron Rodgers. But
I think even we were talking about the Shedeur thing, and you were like, they weren't going to draft Shedeur because they signed Aaron Rodgers. That's the plan.
Yeah, I wasn't in support of it though. That was just what I read, and I understood why they were doing it. Yeah, I wasn't in support of them doing it. I just seen what they were doing. I've never been in support of it. And now, even with my takes on Justin Fields throughout the years of doing this, that probably would have been the best route for them. Just keeping Justin Fields. Like, and seeing over the next 2 to 3 years what we have here, because you have a coach that has enough leeway to be like, okay, if they go 5-12 next season, it's fine because they're not going to fire Mike Tomlin, and now we're in a position to possibly draft our quarterback.
You don't know they're not going to fire Mike Tomlin, Lou. You don't know that.
They fired Mike Tomlin for going 5-12. They're a shit organization, way worse than we're thinking right now.
I mean, I think that we have to start approaching them like that at this point. Not like maybe not shitty, but just organization. Like I keep saying, man, the philosophy for how you build mid. We can say mid, pedestrian, purgatory. All these words about being in the middle, like not knowing where to go. You're not great and you're not trash, and that's the worst place to be in professional sports because there's nowhere to build off of. Just being, I mean, they're cool, that's you know what I mean. That's the worst. There is nowhere in life where is cool. They're like, if someone makes food like that, and you're like, how is it? And oh, come on, man, give me some feedback. a girl you went on a fucking date with, how was the date, bro?
That's cool.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this right.
It's terrible. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you this right now, Q. I agree with exactly what you're saying. However, McDonald's is an franchise and it sells billions by the day. And if a girl's a butterhead, but she's available, niggas go crack more than you think.
What you're pointing out is that when niggas are starved, they will accept anything. When you are used to 5 stars as a Steelers fans from 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when you're used to 5-star restaurant and now it's chicken and nuggets and soda, bro, you looking at them like, bro, you fell off. Like, what's going on? Like, and that's where I'm saying the coherence is gone. Where is the philosophy? Where is it at?
It speaks to what Q said. There is no spark in the front office. There's no spark. Like they're not doing or haven't done anything in a long time to make you say, damn, that was an interesting or a good move. They tried last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, but even now they fucked that up. Like that was something that they could have built on for a couple of years where they're not spending a lot of money on quarterbacks. It gave them an opportunity to explore what they had, though, Ken.
We'll be having the same conversation we're having now.
I don't agree with that.
I think because we had it all last year.
Yeah,
Justin Fields comes in like, okay, no, wait. So Justin Fields had that overlooming thing of Russell Wilson is going to be the starter whenever he gets healthy. If I bring Justin Fields back, regardless of how I feel about him as a starting quarterback, they say we going into this season with you being the starter and preparing him as the starter. You get a much clearer picture on now and the future if he can or can't play. If Aaron Rodgers comes in and he's great, I still don't know that he's coming back next year.
I think we knew what Fields was enough to not worry about keeping Fields around.
I think this is the last shot. All right, I'm pushing all my cryptocurrency on Justin Fields.
To me, he's Jameis Winston. Like he's gonna be he's Jameis Winston. He's gonna go around. He's gonna win a couple games. He might win you 5-6 games on a really bad team, but he's gonna be journeyman for the rest of his life.
You know what I think he is? I think he's an athletic Geno Smith.
I think he's Tyrod Taylor.
I think he's gonna have a Geno Smith year with the Jets.
But that goes to what I'm saying. We're having the same conversation. The conversation doesn't change. You know,
a Buick is a Buick, Ken. You know what I'm saying?
I think Ken, that even more so says that this was a bad move because we're still talking about what could have been with other quarterbacks, what might be with future quarterbacks, even though they've signed what they think is their quarterback for right now, and nobody's convinced to be like, hey, man, the Steelers might have a chance since they got Aaron Rodgers. We don't know. We've seen him play for the last 3 years. He may suck.
I don't know
more so than he had sucked.
Who are the wide receivers? Like, I don't know what's going on.
They got your boy from Seattle.
They said they may trade for Chris Olave. That's a potential rumor.
I mean, that's cool.
They talk about Terry McLaurin
and they
too.
got DK Metcalf.
He said he was going there for
they got Metcalf. I get that, but
he said his soul, and he has a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. They've been in communication since this whole thing started, but his soul feels good.
Ain't shit happened yet. It's easy to me. It's easy in the honeymoon phase, kid. You remember the honeymoon phase?
Watch how that shit change when training camp rolls around.
I don't.
Why isn't he here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a 40-year-old drug addict. No, you can only expect so much.
Aaron Rodgers gonna skip OTAs to be the Deepak Chopra reading.
Every day they're gonna be talking about why Aaron Rodgers ain't here, and then we're gonna get 2 or 3 weeks of the season. He's gonna be missing passes. Oh, that would have helped if he was at OTAs and like we've seen this shit every fucking time.
I'm thinking this year though. I was wondering if something was different because he signed so quickly. I'm like, did they make him come in?
He's not gonna be there, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
I'll tell you who's not there though. TJ Watt's not there, and that's gonna hurt a little bit if he ain't ready to go with.
Because TJ, he's tired. TJ is tired of having to win the first 6 games by his damn self every season,
and he won his money. He won
are the kids?
Kid, as quiet as kept. TJ doing this because he know the end is coming. As far as like him being dominant, I would say him being dominant because that back half of that season was about him too. It wasn't just about
he want his money before he started to look old. He knows it's like
exactly.
Like man, I need to pay me before I get back out there because
pay me today.
What it might look like. Yeah, pay me now.
Pay me today because some ain't working tomorrow.
Some might not be right, bro.
But because it's nuts how you can pay Cam Hayward and then you ain't got no money for me. Like Cam Hayward is 36. Like I'm what? 33.
We're long. We have a long way to go, but I'm curious. Who's the offensive coordinator? Do you guys know?
From Atlanta.
Arthur Smith.
Still there?
Arthur Smith is still there. And he should have took out fired after last year.
Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Steelers are afraid to make moves.
He worked with Nathaniel Hackett. Work with Smith.
Fuck out of here. The Steelers have been afraid to make moves, and they're looking very Sacramento Kings-ish to me lately. Well, I'm just being real.
I mean, we have enough historical context to judge what we've seen. And it's clear as day when Big Ben retired, they didn't have a plan, and Big Ben held them hostage for a couple of years. And they weren't prepared on what to do after the fact. They thought Kenny Pickett was going to be it. He wasn't it.
And they should have had us in the GM war room, kid. Because we like let his goofy ass go. Let's
Yeah, and I don't know. I think, and I don't know who's actually running things. That's what I was asking. I don't know if the kids are running things now.
I think the kids. I think
most of the time the kids don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, a lot of these cases, the kids don't know.
The kids running a lot of shit. The kids running some of the Bengal shit. That's how shit ain't working out right now.
Y'all got it rough. But it don't. It's crazy though how Tomlin's steadiness has made us forget a lot of the dysfunction that this team has.
You better speak for yourself, nigga. I ain't forget shit. I don't want to talk
about that. Everyone here is not
manipulating. The Steelers are manipulating the coaching genius of Mike Tomlin. They're manipulating it because they know he's going out there and be a good enough coach.
Yeah,
exactly. If you remove Mike Tomlin, this franchise looks like the fucking Cardinals.
The Giants. Not even the Cardinals, the Giants.
Mike Tomlin has been there to coach their ass through 9 wins since he's been there, and that's what make it look like, oh, it's the Steelers. They got a franchise brand name.
That's fine, Lou. That's not how you go. That's not how we gonna remember him. Because we're gonna remember him saying, no, I'm gonna say niggas gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it right now because I'm gonna say early, and y'all gonna call me a hater anyway. Niggas gonna look back and say Sirianni ran Pennsylvania, not Mike Tomlin, because if Sirianni get one more ring, niggas gonna be saying, who the fuck is Mike Tomlin and Sirianni? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man,
he already did the same shit Tomlin did so far in his career.
If Mike Tomlin had Howie as his GM, he would have 6 rings.
Mike Tomlin has had none of the support that.
And like I told you, Lou, Like I told you, Lou, if my grandma had wings, she'll be a bat.
Nick, you weren't saying that with SGA when you were debating.
You don't want brought Nick Sirianni into this. I'm saying
you about SGA.
A lot of things, bro.
I'm only talking about.
He almost got fired. He almost got fired after going to the NFC Championship game.
Exactly. He almost did. You know what I'm saying?
So don't talk to me about Nick Sirianni.
I almost didn't go viral, but I did.
Regardless, that's funny. Regardless, we might be at a position now though where Mike Tomlin's coaching might be more of a detriment to the Steelers than an additive. Not in the sense that he's a bad coach. I think he's a great coach, but he is like, bro, he's making Lunchables into like a 3-star restaurant, and it's we are hyping it because every season, like he's literally chefing like dude from the Bear with Lunchables, and the reason why that it matters because I'm not trying to hear this Bengals like spice right now, but like here's the thing is the issue is every season preseason, the Steelers gonna win 4 or 5 games. I'll be shocked if they win 5-6 games, and then every season he won 11 games. He won 11 games. Can I say something? Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna let you go. He won 10, 11 games, and then after that, we start having, should Mike Tomlin get fired? He can't win a game. So which one is it?
Can I ask you a question, Q? Was the majority of Mike Tomlin's tenure with Big Ben, like, was it more than like 5 or 6 seasons, you would say?
I would say it's like 90% with Big Ben.
Okay. So you said that he's making Lunchables. He said making lunch. So Antonio Brown in his prime was a Lunchable Shelton. TJ Watt in his prime was a Lunchable Shelton. Who else he had? He had a couple other niggas. Cameron Hayward. That's a Lunchable too. Super Bowls I'm just saying, like, a lot of what y'all saying is Mike Tomlin's record that was above 500 came through with Big Ben and them big threes. So, Le'Veon Bell was a Lunchable Shelton. You know what I'm saying?
Like, have a quarterback? Like, I'm saying.
I don't know how many times.
Let me finish this point. Let me finish what I said. Let's not act like he didn't have talent and he didn't do it. He didn't take it to the level that he's supposed to.
A lot of the
talent niggas thought he would.
I want to ban this Tomlin getting. Let's have a conversation about Tomlin when he gets fired.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
This is becoming the LeBron is the GOAT conversation over and over again. Nobody's introducing anything. Yeah, it's just
for Thomas.
I'm just making sure niggas don't forget, Ken, because niggas they be talking.
Nick is being reductive because we'll go back and watch those games and see who was available to play. But because okay, so you can't judge a nigga when Le'Veon Bell not playing. You can't judge a nigga. Big Ben is throwing 3 picks in the first half against the Jaguars. That you know what I mean. You always say coaching don't matter. The players got to get me.
I thought you were talking about injuries because I was about to say
the injuries too. AB was out for 2 rounds in 28.
I was gonna say because they don't give me no relief on Joe Burrow being hurt the last.
I do. I always say if you're available, you're available. I'm consistent.
Well, you know what is available? The next topic. So sticking with the NFL, we just witnessed what is probably the best rookie QB class of all time, and now we get to see what their sophomore year will look like in the upcoming season. Between Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, Michael Penix Jr., JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix, which young QB do you believe will continue to step up, and which young QB do you see regressing?
I think the one that has the biggest step in year 2 is going to be Michael Penix because he played the least amount of all of the year 1 QBs, and he definitely had some good highlight moments. But the biggest thing is continuity, and we know that the Falcons definitely have offensive weaponry. So I think another year in the system, you know, he's the unquestioned leader and starting quarterback. I think he has the biggest jump. I think who probably has the sophomore slump will be my guy in Denver. What's the name?
Bo Nix.
I think the Bo Nix, because when and I don't even know if it's all going to be on Bo Nix, like it'd be his fault. But we're looking at a conference that I've never seen 4 Hall of Fame coaches in one conference like that. And if there is something to be exposed, he'll be exposed in that conference.
And shout out to Smitty, man. He apparently we got a diehard Steelers fan in the chat.
Yeah, no, he been going crazy.
Who up next?
I think Jayden Daniels is gonna take another step. I think that he's going to put a lot of it together. Just pre-snap, everything pre-snap is going to be a lot tighter. I think that just throwing mechanics is going to be better just because you have, timing down. You understand. You get in the second year with your receivers, Terry McLaurin. Even though McLaurin is not at OTAs right now, they got to pay him. But the thing is, though, is that I'm sure that he's at least getting off the field work with him probably off-site. So you want to hope that the defense gets better and allows Washington to not have to rely on Jayden Daniels' magic too much. But the front seven is going to get better. So I think that that's going to help Jayden Daniels and his stats as well. With Caleb, I think that he's not going to regress. I just think that it's just going to kind of plateau for me. I don't see it with Caleb Williams. I really don't. I think that he's cool. I just think that it's like diet Justin Herbert. Like he might have some gaudy stats here and there from time to time. He might be like premium Trevor Lawrence, where it's like, you know what I mean? But that's just kind of what I see. And Penix, I don't believe in Atlanta, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. But he has the talent. Can they keep him healthy though? Who knows?
For me, I agree with you, FIFO. I do think we're going to see some good stuff from Penix. He does have a lot of talent around him, and they have the ability to get the ball in the right hands. I think he's going to show that he's going to make a tremendous step from 1 to 2. For me, as far as regressing, I think it's Jayden Daniels. And the reason I think that is not – I don't think he has far to fall, but at the same time, he like just blew everybody out the water making it to the championship game like that. It's going to be tough to do that in year 2 when everybody got tape on you, and the fact that the running game will be a little weaker. The offensive line is they're getting it together, but it's still like a little influx, and the receiver continuity got to be there, and it's not there yet. So
the only reason why I disagree with you, Shelton, is because who's their OC?
What's his name?
Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah,
Cliff Kingsbury proved himself at least as an OC last year, and I feel that this year they're gonna just have more wrinkles. You know what I'm saying? So like I think he's in a prime position to protect Jayden Daniels from that sophomore slump, because teams are gonna have tape, but now it's like, oh well, shit, we could run Debo, we can do like there's just more wrinkles that they can do that I think is just gonna be harder to gauge what Jalen is going to be in the second year. I think they can morph that team and progress it a little bit more.
I think Penix makes the jump. I think that he has the weapons, not counting Kyle Pitts, but we talking about Bijan, we talking about Drake. I think that the Falcons are in a great position. And I think Penix is really good too. I think he throws, out of all these guys that we mentioned, he probably throw the best ball. Like when you're talking about just pure quarterback throwing the ball, he's the dude that can do it. And it's been a long time since Atlanta has had that. You try probably going back to Matthew, what's his name? Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Penix as far as making the biggest leap, them probably even winning that division, and then being like Sheldon, a true NFC East hater. I got to go with Jayden Daniels. I don't like the situation going on with McLaurin because he asking for his money. I don't like their head coach. I think that's going to dwindle down into Kingsbury, adding them wrinkles to what FIFO said. And people are going to have tape on Jayden Daniels, and the ceiling is so high. Going to where he went to last year, the expectations are going to be dramatically different. And I just don't think that he's going to be able to perform. Not saying he's not a good player, because he'll bounce back in year 3 or 4. Like, he's going to have a good career. But next year, I think it's going to be a really difficult year for him because they haven't done enough to solidify being a good football team. And Debo was cool, but like, who is like, what is that? Yeah. And you possibly have McLaurin, who may leave, get traded, or whatever it may be. Like, it's not a perfect storm for him to come back and have a good sophomore season. I think that he's going to really struggle this year, and the Commanders will be scratching their head like, damn, what happened? But I don't think he's not going to be good just this year. I think he'll struggle.
Thanks, CJ Stroud.
Oh wow! Exactly. Do you think that JJ McCarthy is going to be this year's Jayden Daniels?
I think that's possible.
I'm not saying just strictly off of his talent, but
what he has around him,
everything he has around him.
I was going to say I don't think so, because I mean, shit, like FIFO talked about with the AFC West, that NFC North. I mean, shit, you got that's a lot for a guy who's never played football.
JJ in the best coaching situation.
Are we sure the Lions are going to be roaring this season the way that they were?
Exactly.
I'm not saying they don't have to be great. They just first of all, they're still a division opponent. And second of all, they got more talent than them anyway. I mean, they got enough talent that's going to make him be thrown off because he's never played NFL football before. Everybody else has played that.
I'm not scared of Detroit if I'm Minnesota.
As a team, yes, but as the quarterback, he don't know how much he's probably gonna look just as shook as what's his name?
I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people look at Detroit like the Emperor is naked now, where it's like, all right, like you got Campbell, but it's like, who is it? You know what I mean? You just run with real niggas.
Who am I scared of?
You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I scared of now that they gone? Like your big brothers is gone. Now it's a one-on-one, and we got to see what you can do. How are you going to delegate? We're going to really see if Detroit and their brain trust has been grooming and elevating people that deserve to be there, or is this just going to be all on Dan Campbell and his brain trust? And I don't know if you want that.
It's what's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how JJ adjusts to the NFL. And I'm saying that because if we remember a couple years ago, Michigan ran the ball 100 times in a game, several times. So it's times when he didn't throw the ball that much at Michigan. He really didn't have to, but we don't know if he can carry the load, say, like a Sam Darnold did. With Sam Darnold, we knew he could throw the ball. That wasn't the question. But on those games where we got to see him throw the ball, I like to see how he handles that pressure.
My response to that, Sheldon, would be he did that because of the coach that he had. And we all agree Harbaugh is a good coach. I think the same thing about is it McDaniel? What's the dude name in McDonald? Yeah. He's a hell of a football coach, bro. To take Sam Darnold and to do what he did. If I'm a Vikings fan, I'm putting on FIFO do-rag, I'm putting on Shelton jacket, and I'm stepping out there proud this year. Like I'm ready to roll. Like the Vikings should be they feel like they can win this division, especially since JJ he got a year to sit. And if he's a good student of the game, he was able to learn. Like
he wasn't just sitting, Lou. He was hurt. They haven't talked about. They ain't talking. I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying they haven't told us. They ain't told us nothing about his injury since coming back and all that shit.
He could have played.
Players have been talking though. They said they're impressed by what he's doing. Like the players have been speaking very highly of him. All the players.
It was an ACL tear, and I feel like he could have played if they would just want. If the Vikings were terrible, and by early January, by late December, they wanted to see what he looked like. I feel like JJ McCarthy probably could have went out there. You know what I'm saying? Towards the couple games.
I'm saying my two is,
but they were so good.
I think that because of how much pressure is on this quarterback, Caleb Williams has to take a step forward. He got everything that you could want. Coming into any situation in year two.
I think that's an easy pick though, Nick, because
I'm only saying it because he has the most pressure. To me, he has the most pressure out of everybody to have a better second year. Because I think because you already know I came into the season as a Jayden Daniels fan, and I knew Michael Penix was going to get the starting job eventually. I was waiting for everybody else to catch up, especially the ones in Atlanta. And so I'm not worried about them. I never believed in Bo Nix. I don't give a damn about Bo Nix. Regression don't mean shit to me with Bo Nix because I don't think he's that good anyway. The one that I think is going to be regressing is Drake Maye, which is going to be shocking because they only won 4 games last year.
No one's going to care.
Why are we giving Frank Vogel grace?
Vrabel.
Whatever his name is,
Vrabel, because we got because the Patriots
he lost to Cincinnati in the championship game.
He made Tennessee a
contender. Patriots are a mess right now, man. So
they're gonna give him so much grace, bro. Like they don't hear a word about that.
He's gonna get 3 seasons of being bad. Even if they're terrible, they're gonna get 3 seasons.
And that's fine for y'all, but to me, if Gerard Mayo got fired for four games, if Mike Vrabel doesn't win more than 5, then I'm like, what the fuck y'all fired Gerard for?
As a human, you know the difference.
I was gonna say,
right.
Well, no, and I'm keeping it the same energy.
It's not that spite. I definitely think the Patriots definitely have some leeway, but the reason why Mike Vrabel has respect in the game is because he took a Tennessee Titan team with Mike Tannehill as the quarterback and made them into true like a team to be feared that you didn't necessarily want to play. You know what I'm saying? Because you knew that the brand of football was going to be physical. It's going to be a tight, close game, and if they're within striking distance, that you could lose that game.
But the same thing could have been said. Who's the head coach of the Commanders, Lou?
Campbell.
Quinn.
Dan Quinn did the same thing in Atlanta, right, Ken? He turned Atlanta around and he got them balling. And then when he got fired, there was a long time before anybody believed him. And even Lewis questioned him now in Washington after he just went to the NFC Championship game. So why the hell we give him the same grip?
The difference is that Quinn had a franchise quarterback and Mike Vrabel did not.
The only difference is they're gonna give him grace regardless, and we know that because they want Drake May. They're doing everything to make sure that Drake May is successful.
Really? They gave him Stephon Diggs.
They brought in Stephon Diggs. But that's their move. They traded away Joe Milton because they knew Joe Milton was coming on. He had a good game at the end of the year. They made it to where he's like it's set up for him to be successful. They took the pressure off.
I'm saying they did all that. They did all that musical chairs. Just if they just only win 5 games, they got to win more than 5 games. Because it's like, to me, I'm keeping the same energy. I know what y'all talking about. But I'm saying I'm just saying that nigga. They don't. Because you write FIFA. You said the only difference was they didn't have a franchise QB. Well, right now the Patriots believe they have a franchise QB. That's why they brought him in, right?
I believe.
And if he don't win more than 5 games with this in year 2, fuck off.
It's not about winning
5 is a good season for them.
No. Wait, hold on. It's not about winning 5 games. What did Q say earlier about the Pittsburgh Steelers? And I think Shelton said, or it may have been Q. You're stuck in the Hawks purgatory. You don't want to be good enough where you're making the playoffs, but you're not really a contender. And you want to be bad enough where you can reestablish and replenish the talent on your roster. And the Patriots are in a perfect position to be like, hey, we believe in this quarterback. He's still cheap, and we could still potentially be bad enough where we could go get more guys now. And we have a boatload amount of cap space where not only can we draft guys, we can bring in guys next season. All we have to do is show promise. Last season, they showed promise when Drake May came in. It's not about winning games this season, Nick. It's about taking the next step in the process.
That don't make no sense.
I got worse
because they fired a nigga who didn't win games.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I'll just say we're gonna do worst of the week and then power rankings. But before we do that, Nick and FIFO, Vrabel is literally running drills to teach Drake May how to be a leader. And yes, I read an article about it.
And he's also Kraft's guy, so we got to remember that as well. Like, there's just like Kraft and him have a really close relationship, something that him and Gerard Mayo probably never could have. But it's like there's a lot of factors here.
Honestly, now
they admitted that Mayo was a bad hire, though. They said that he wasn't prepared to be a head coach.
Well, then that's on Kraft.
It's going to be a lot different. It is, but that's going to be a lot different from how it looks for someone who's already a proven head coach. They're gonna give him a couple of years. That's the way you could do that with Mayo and just cut him out and be like, nah, bro, you ain't got one.
Well, I just don't know if we got to see if Drake's gonna have command of the team like that. Mm-hmm. If you have to kind of coach these things into him, or you putting him in the center of the team and having them run these drills and stuff like that. They said the same thing, I think, about Tua at one point and some of these other guys. And Tua was okay, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think Drake may surprise some people. They just have shitty offensive players, but we'll see. Anyway, let's jump into worst of the week, man. We're going to keep the theme rolling.
Wow.
Of course.
No, it ain't changed yet.
Yeah, there it is.
That's a crazy picture.
Shout out Coach.
Yeah.
You the one that picked it, huh, Nick?
Hell nah, I ain't picked that one.
Yeah, Haliburton should have applied the choke to himself. Because that's exactly what he did in game 2. He choked himself, and not probably in a good way. That's some of y'all nasty ass out there thinking, bro.
Choked himself was wild.
Choked himself.
Crazy. Jeez.
What a terrible offensive game.
Can a wild boy.
That was Haliburton.
Is that why he had a bad offensive game? Too much.
He was out there jacking shit.
What?
Jacking off the whole damn game, not doing shit. So he was freaking awful, bro. Yeah, like 3 points at halftime, and then you try to come on late. So
it keeps getting worse.
This whole segment is egregious.
Yeah,
keep getting worse.
You need to start wrapping it up, kid. I don't know where you.
So Haliburton was the worst thing I've seen all week.
Jeez,
Man, we're gonna leave it there, bro. Let's yeah, you're right, Donovan. Never mind. Let's go into our power rankings with you folks.
All right. So I've been doing all of the all-time by position. So today is the centers at number 5.
You better get
so
it right.
So here's the thing. Yeah, I know. I definitely got the 5 right. Originally, I was talking to B about it. I wasn't gonna include players that I didn't see, but as I started researching it, I was like, it's impossible not to put those guys because of the accomplishments that they had.
Right.
So that being said, at number 5, I got Akeem Olajuwon. The Dream, you already know.
Ken, he already fucked up.
Ken just took his headphones off, people.
At number 5, I got Akeem Olajuwon, one of the greatest centers to ever play. But the people that I have ahead of him, it's like, come on, you know what I'm saying? At number 4, I have Shaquille O'Neal. Most dominant big man that I've seen with my own 2 eyes. Yeah. The top 3 are players that I've never seen, but obviously I've seen highlights. And like I said, as I started researching them and looking at the numbers a little bit deeper, I was just like, well, yeah, it's impossible for me not to put him up there. So at number 3, I got Bill Russell. 11 championships, enough said. The fuck is you laughing at?
All right, let's keep it going, people.
Go ahead, people.
At number 2, we got Will Chamberlain. Crazy stats. You look up all his numbers, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Most players won't be able to eclipse the things that he did in his time, regardless if he had the competition or not. Like, I could go play against kindergartners and not score 100 points or get 50 rebounds. Like, it's ridiculous.
We got footage of the JFK assassination, but not 100 points, by the way. But go ahead.
I know, it was just crazy. And then at number 1, I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Mr. Skyhook himself. So those are the top 5. You can put them in any order that you want. But if we're talking all time, I think that these are the 5 greatest centers to ever play the game.
I feel like a lot of us would rearrange 4 and 5 in different places.
Yeah. That's fine.
I'll say number 2 will come down.
1 is, to me, 1 should be solidified. Like,
yes, one is right.
Kareem 1 from high school all the way through the pros.
Yeah.
I could argue Hakeem should be top 3.
I think that Hakeem is the second best center ever.
Second, yeah.
I think Shaq.
I would give Hakeem in his prime, like even as dominant. Like you brought up a good point, FIFO, because I agree with you. Dominance wise, like I've never seen a big man like Shaq.
A peak, his peak is crazy.
Overall, his peak is crazy. But when Hakeem was in his bag, I've never seen anything like that.
He has Shaq early, baby Shaq.
Yeah. Sweep, like get up out of here, bro.
My thing is I have to give respect to Bill Russell. I would put him at 2.
Man,
Ken, I know what you want to say, but you got to give Ed because he did it all.
I give it to respect for not getting lynched.
Nick, we can't. The reason why we can't do that is because
that's to make the top 5.
Talk about a choke job.
That is
wrong. Yo, they about to kick us off YouTube. What is y'all saying?
All I'm saying is That man won 11 times. When are we ever gonna respect the 11 title show?
We can't. Nigga, was only 4 teams in the league then.
Yo, it's crazy.
It's a part of NBA history.
And he was a part of.
And he's a huge part of. He's a huge part of Black history too. He held it down for a lot of niggas.
Bill Russell might be the greatest NBA player just off of social change and what he meant to his people alone. Of course, like he might be the GOAT, and there's a lot of people from back then who say he is the GOAT. The thing is, though, is that sports and life goes on, bro. Sports involved. No, I mean that's why I hate the young generation. What you just said. No, it's not. It's not disrespect because a lot of these niggas could also take the similar stances as Bill Russell did, and a lot of them could come together, but they don't. That's a whole separate episode. But for the fact that Bill Russell did that, I always give respect. He could be the damn near GOAT just off that. Hakeem, to me, just the way he changed the game for centers and it's changed the game for just footwork, period. People, I would have to have him top 3 just off the impact alone. The dream shake, the drop step, like the ball fakes.
Yeah,
like guards starting still like he made David Robinson look silly to the point where David Robinson all he could say was, "Yo, he was killing. He was amazing out there." And I feel like people come to him, Hakeem, all the time for advice on, "Yo, I want to get my foot." Kobe. Giannis, LeBron James, it's on video. I don't think that people came to Wilt and Bill Russell and said, "Yo, I need you to teach me." But Wilt was just dominant in his era. Bill Russell, I give him respect for also being a player coach as well. But the time does matter.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking Bill about Russell, like I would take Chamberlain. I would put Chamberlain at 5. Honestly, I know that maybe sound crazy, but like I think that I would have Kareem, Russell, Hakeem, Shaq, Chamberlain.
The reason why I wouldn't put Chamberlain at 5 is some of the film that they've showed and some of the from listening to them talk, man, they like, well, I'm talking about later in his years came out there and was dogging some dudes. Now I would move Hakeem up a lot higher than that. Bill Russell was great, but he was a great defender more than anything else.
Let's not do that.
What was.
Shelton Wright.
How many rings Wilt won and do all as great as he was? Shelton.
But they talk about him.
Did he win 2?
Man, they talk about they give him a lot of respect.
Tell me to stop.
Bill Russell's a winner, but I really just believe that personally, Wilt and Bill, I put them at 4 and 5, and I will put Hakeem and Shaq at 2, 3. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
AQ, Bill Russell averaged like 14 points a game or something like
that. 14 points a game, but he was like the supreme. He was like the supreme version of every. He's like a supreme Ben Wallace. Like, and Ben Wallace is already a supreme defender, but I imagine Bill Russell to be like, you know what I'm saying, like the mega version of what Ben Wallace was back in that time. Yeah. So I give him the respect.
He won 11 chips, bro, against Wilt.
I know, but Bob Cousy was dribbling with
he had a great squad.
Hey, Shelton, they probably only average 14 points because they probably wouldn't let him shoot.
That was what it was. That was it.
If y'all watch that Celtic documentary, it do kind of touch on some of that shit.
If y'all don't let Bill Russell rest,
don't say touch on it.
Watch that for those who haven't watched that.
Let him rest.
Pin on to something. Yeah, they probably said, "Oh, this nigga only gets 8 shots a game." Boy.
Yeah, he averaged like 14 points, 19 rebounds a game. That was.
They just want him grabbing balls, Nick.
All right, let's move on.
Put his mic off, Jamie.
You know what? Wrap it up.
Oh man.
Oh man.
This one been rough.
Let me read the members chat we got tonight. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would y'all rate Adam Silver's tenure as commissioner?
5, 6.
5 is what I was gonna say.
When did he start?
6.
I remember he started out hot, but
let me see when he started.
Didn't end up that way.
I can't say enough about how I just feel like Adam Silver and the way that he's branding the NBA right now it's such a disservice to basketball fans everywhere. I really feel like that. The reason why is because you look at the finals. The way that they're marketing the finals, to me, it just feels like they're talking about a mid-season tournament. Like there's no
tournament. It don't feel like a big deal.
They're putting more emphasis on the midseason tournament, Spike, than they did on the finals. Like they're 3D printing, or I'm sorry, they're digitally printing the finals logo onto the court. Guys don't have the Larry O'Brien trophy on their jerseys. They don't have where's the player intros? Where's the team? I want to hear Morgan Freeman to talk about Indiana has come from. I want to hear that. You know what I mean? I want to hear the announcers
breakdowns before every game.
Mike Green ain't saying bang.
Like that shit missing. Like it seems like this is.
They said the NBA halftime show was trash, but I think
there was a halftime show.
Well, yeah, I didn't watch it, but from what I've seen, they're saying it's getting inflamed. But Adam Silver is in a very, very, very tough spot because the world is changing and transitioning, and he has no idea what to do. In terms of being forward thinking, looking around corners to try to see what's next and how to adapt the product to the needs of the fans and meet them where they are. I think he was good in allowing clips to be used on social media and stuff like that to increase the brand awareness of it. But it also could be argued that he hurt the product because people just got reduced to watching the clips and not the games. Well, the NFL at that time, they were stingy. You put shit on social media, that's your account will be taken down. They've gotten better, but they really locked everything down. And over time, when they understood a little bit more, then they kind of started to allow more permissions. So I think he's in a tough spot, and he just has no idea what to do.
I disagree with you, Ken, because I think he has done a fairly good job, and I do agree that he's been in a tough position because of how the world's changing, how the consumer. You have to meet the consumers where they are. So being able to clip the game and reduce the game and just be there for the fair weather fans. But I think that he has a really good pulse, which is why I gave him a 7 on the macro of 7. What the NBA is. Yeah, I gave him a 7. Some of y'all said 5 and 6. I gave him a 7 because I feel like he has a really good pulse on what the macro of what the NBA is and what the future of that is. I don't know if you guys know, but all of the efforts that he has in Africa. You know what I'm saying? With the NBA Africa, really trying to grow that expansion of the NBA, because we're seeing that a lot of the better talent in the NBA now have, even if they're not directly from Africa, they have African descent, like Giannis, like Pascal Siakam, like a whole bunch of them, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and also the whole thing of trying to globalize basketball, make it into bring it in either a tournament or something like that with world teams. I think he has a really good pulse on that. But the reason why I can't even give him higher, and I do agree with Shelton, he definitely started off hot and has simmered down, is because of the finals and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I 100% agree with you. There's certain things that I feel like is an oversight, which it should be your primary focus. Like the future and stuff is good to have a pulse on that, but you got to still worry about the right now, today, what's happening tomorrow. And I feel like they're losing sight of that.
So that's the reason listen to what 7. People have been saying for the last couple of years, and he's afraid to make the move. You just got to make it. Reduce the number of games is the thing that you see all the time. Fits the All-Star game.
They trying everything they can to do that, but it ain't nothing working.
Bro, man, that's a player's issue, though. I just feel like, the number one word I want to use, 2 words, is pageantry and bravado. And I just feel like the NBA is just getting the ass handed to them by the NFL. And that's the reason why, of course, ratings and, the history of teams and rivalries and just the nature of grown men hitting each other is going to make people tune in and be more ravenous of fans. Like the UFC has ravenous fans who want to see people just beat each other up. I get it. But basketball comes from a legacy of physical play. It comes from a legacy of rivalries. And I feel as though Adam Silver and FIFA, I'd be curious to know how you would rate David Stern in comparison, because a 7 to me is very generous, because I would give Stern like an 8. But the reason why it's such a problem is they don't market the teams. They don't give us the lore. They are so hell bent on this old timey promote the best player, find the face of the league formula. And I don't think that's the way that you can build the NBA's lore and their pageantry up. I think you have to go from the perspective of you got to tell us all the teammates, people's story. Because if you care about social media so much, like you're saying, then you have to dig deep, get into the weeds of why these guys are who they are. We do care about those stories. The NFL, people care about the teams. Yeah, they have superstars, but no one really watches the Pro Bowl. And that's counterintuitive to why people, are not watching the NBA. You're too busy trying to promote one guy instead of trying to promote rivalries and trying to promote, the magnitude of the moment. And I think that they are sorely missing on that. And that's what's killing baseball.
What was killing this right now, kid, is because David Stern turned over his grave because he was like, but Adam Silver fucking up the game. We need to make America great again with this basketball. People over here told us all the secrets that happened and why Silver ain't shit. Because he out here he watering everybody's grass but his.
I don't even know what Adam Silver, whatever his name was, could do. David Stern,
because what y'all talking about is not making the American product as big as it's supposed to be. Like, you're over here worried about global shit, trying to take it to the umpteenth level when the product at home ain't really selling like it used to. The finals is in the tank, and I'm sorry. I know people are like, that's Beezy and everybody else gonna be basketball players gonna watch anything. All right, all 10 of y'all can get together and watch the game, but there's millions of others that they trying to reach because this is the biggest moment of the sport, and the ratings is low, and that don't mean, and that's not good for advertising. But that's good for your stars players who are trying to get
in a small market though. As much as people say. No, it's not small market. As much as the small market is more equal now, right? Like you could be a Giannis and still get endorsement deals that you couldn't get in the past because of social media. Social media is the equalizer, but a small market is still a small market. And at the end of the day, your ratings are going to represent that.
It's $1 billion organization. We can spend money on marketing to make you familiar with these people in the small market. I think they because I've already got my money from Amazon, I've already got my money from NBC, I've already got my money from these places. I don't care about marketing these players anymore. Speaking to Q's point of the lack of the traditional final stuff that we usually see, they aren't paying attention to those things anymore, and they're paying attention to international and the All-Star game. When your best product, the finals, the best two teams in your league, you're not taking time to market that and spending the money on marketing to inform people who maybe mid-weather fans, maybe really basketball fans, on who's playing these games.
Ain't sexy enough.
We came up in an era where they used to do the whole, they did, but the NBA can still do something about that. And I think they just accepted that if Oklahoma City is going to be here and Indiana's going to be here, then nobody's going to watch it. Cool, we'll take this and we'll build on it for next season. When they could build a story around, like, there's interesting stuff going on with both of these teams, with Haliburton, with SGA, with Siakam. Like, there's very interesting stories that could be told, but the NBA just act like they not interested in telling those stories. Back in the day, even if it was a small market team like the Suns, they were interested in telling about Dan Marley, about Kevin Johnson, about Barkley, and how he got there. Like, those things happened. They don't do that now.
Well, all that shit you said was a bunch of hogwash because small market teams don't historically draw ratings for the NBA. I'm looking at the ratings on Wikipedia right now, and all the small market teams. Interest. It at the time when the NBA was what people would say as popular.
The ratings are how you grade interest, Spike.
Yeah, in 2003, you had the Spurs. In 2003, you had the Spurs and the Nets drawing 6, doing 6, 6, 5, 7, 6, 6. That's on par with what's going on right now. But when the Lakers played, it was 10. When the Lakers played the year before that, 12. Lakers played 11. It went down half when the Lakers dropped out. Half. Small market teams, Q. That's data, bro.
No, I'm not saying the data's wrong.
I was talking to Spike. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, but is there also data to show like, and this is probably rhetorical, but is there data to show like when those small market teams make the finals, like how much is put into the marketing? How much? What's the budget? Because when you're talking about marketing, you all know this. There's something within marketing called habit forming. They care about habit forming, where hey, we're gonna put $300 million over the next 5 years into this campaign because we're trying to get our consumers to do this one thing. I'm just saying, bro, I haven't even seen a commercial for the finals that's like cut really nice. Do y'all remember the 2008 playoffs? I think Kanye just dropped 808s and Heartbreak, the song Amazing with Jeezy. Dog, they had Kobe, they had LeBron. It was just like the fucking drums were going. It's like, okay, shit. They played that commercial every 2 minutes.
That's a different era, bro.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Era,
but where is that? All we get is a what the hell 30 seconds as we go out. Like
I'm just saying we don't know what we had until we had it, bro. That was a different era,
bro.
Like, NBA, it's the NBA that's doing it. It's not. We can't say it's small markets. It's these players are not entertaining. It's the NBA. They have the marketing dollars to make you interested in these players. They're just not spending.
Like New York was in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you would have thought that it was fucking Utah. It was just like it was like we're talking about New York City. Where
used to be so much surrounding the finals,
like
all the stories and the Lamar was telling you the story.
Same thing. Okay, so when San Antonio and Detroit played in way back in the day, what was the story then? What was the story when what was the story when New Jersey played San Antonio back in the day? Nothing. The people they
could have made that interesting. You talking about Jason Kidd, possibly one of the best point guards ever. They could have made that interesting, but what they do is fall back on it's just too small market teams. So we'll let this be.
No, it's just historically. Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
03 was Jordan's last year too, also, Ken. So you got to take into account the fact.
I'm talking about when the Nets played the Spurs in the finals, nobody tuned in to watch that shit.
Was that 2004 you're talking about?
That was way back in the day when the NBA was still popular.
I'm saying that was Jordan's swan song. They were still trying to find who the next guy was. They tried Iverson, they tried Kobe. You saw what happened in Denver, and then LeBron was coming in that very year. So I'm saying that while your data is correct, I think the macro picture lets the NBA off the hook because clearly somebody's getting paid enough money to where they don't give a fuck about the marketing and they don't care about this and that. We got Amazon, we got Twitch, but League Pass is not even what it should be.
Here's the thing. I don't think I don't know how much marketing would generate the interest you guys are talking about. The thing I used to hear, Shelton, you can confirm this. When the Spurs played, nobody liked watching them because they were boring. Yeah, and they were winning.
Now we all miss them, right?
And they were winning. The same people didn't give a damn about the New Jersey Nets. No. You know, and I shit. Did they have Vince Carter then? I can't remember. But nobody gave a damn about it. It doesn't even matter. But they didn't like watching them. There has to be interest. So they can market the shit out of all of that shit. But if nobody like watching them, the shit it's just not gonna happen. You're just wasting money.
It was the over-reliance on stars, and I don't want to drag it too much, but I just want to say the over-reliance on singular figures and the over-reliance on big threes have given people fatigue with basketball. A lot of people didn't respect Kevin Durant's move. A lot of people didn't respect LeBron James' move to go to Miami. People grew up on the prime of the NBA being Michael Jordan stayed with one team, blah, blah, blah. And that's it's got to be the shoes, Spike Lee commercials. One guy dominated all of the marketing damn near. And when he left in 2003, the league was in not shambles, but the league was in a scramble to find, okay, who's the guy? They find LeBron. And then by his third, fourth year, he's the face of the league. And then he's gone off to Miami by 2010. So it's only really a 6-year difference. And then the big three era starts, player empowerment starts. And now we have, after the last 15 years, we are here now since 2010. There's been fatigue with, okay, man, guys don't want to stay loyal to certain teams. But I think that that fatigue is indicative of what we're seeing now, where, okay, market the actual teams that are staying together. Market the players that are staying loyal. People don't give a fuck that Giannis is still staying in Milwaukee. Most people want him to go to New York because, big market, big market. But it's just wrong to me because the big market that was just in the Eastern Conference Finals, like I said, you would think that it was Utah. So even when you're there with the big markets, they're not even marketing, to me, the Lakers like they should.
They have to change the product. They have to figure out a way to tell stories. That's your best point you made about storytelling. They have to figure out a way to tell stories.
Absolutely.
They have to change the product to increase the sense of urgency. The Major League Baseball, they've made changes to their product to make it more interesting. Ratings are up. People don't want to watch all the threes, but the product has to be interesting when you don't have a superstar to carry it.
I can see that.
I think something that Q said that I'm gonna use against them now is you said that marketing is all about habit forming. The best thing for the NBA is dynasties. The reason why people hated the KD move and thought it was soft, or even the LeBron move to Miami, but at the end of the day, what we thought it could be is the reason why we tuned in, because that was a pseudo dynasty. Both of those situations, obviously, they didn't last as long as some other dynasties that we've seen, right? But at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want to know who the champion is. They want to know going into the season, it's going to be them versus everybody.
People, I think that you're not wrong in that. I think that also goes into the storytelling, though, because the reason I'm not saying that marketing is all about habit form. I'm saying there's a key component within marketing agencies and PR companies that care about that. And the NBA, to me, has neglected that completely, because what you're pointing out to me is storytelling with the fact that the Golden State Warriors and the Heat become villains. So now you have half of the NBA fan base, we'll just say half of the viewership hates it because, man, or 70%, right? Because most of the people are not going to be Heat and Warriors fans. Fuck the Warriors, fuck KD, that shit was weak. Fuck LeBron, that shit was weak. He'll never be Jordan. So people want to watch and see a train wreck. Yeah, I hope you lose to the Mavericks. Yeah, I hope you lose to the Cavaliers the first year. And when they keep winning, it ingratiates more people into wanting to see this lose. And then the people that are going to be bandwagons and love because of the marketing and all these superstars on one team, they're going to bandwagon onto the Heat and the Warriors. But I think people are tired of just that narrative of, all right, the villain and who's the heroes. I think we're in an era where people want storytelling, bro. I really do believe that. And I think the NBA just doesn't want to spend the money on it because it's easier to fall back on, let's find the face of the league. Let's find superstars. And the reason why I hate that even more is because even if that is your model, it doesn't even reflect in your All-Star game. You're not even telling the stories of your All-Stars in the All-Star game.
And that's why it's so bad, because people don't care about the All-Stars.
No one cares about y'all.
All-Star games are trash, but
they're trash. But it's like there could be
a lack of story behind it, though. That's why there used to be story behind the.
But it's more the product that's trash because these players don't want to. It is the product, bro.
It
is
is.
Nobody
remember how,
bro. Nobody watched.
Y'all remember when the All-Star? That's different because they can't play for real.
Bro, people watch Hard Knocks, right? It's Hard Knocks.
Exactly. With the All-Star game, there was so much storytelling around the game, around leading up to the week, around the dunk contest. That's what people cared about. That's why people cared about watching.
People cared about watching the best players go at it. And here's the thing: All-Star games, back then.
Wait, real quick, because you just cut me off before I finish. So I just want to tell you the reason that people cared about the best players going at it because they had the story of the best players. They don't have that anymore. Yes, they do.
What it was all right. Look, players today are friendly, buddy. Why? Because they've played with each other from AAU on up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I saw this kid on YouTube. Oh, where is he at? I bet we're going to go join the tournament. You know what I'm saying? You become friends. You're on social media. You're connected. Back then, there was no connection to the players to themselves. Now, there may have been connections that us, the public, were not privy to, but the story that you're talking about is, well, I know he don't really know him, so they're going to go at it when they're on the court, and I want to see what happens. And even though it wasn't like 100, because you can go back and watch, they didn't take it like it was a regular season game or a playoff game, but there were points in time when it got close, especially in that fourth quarter, that they took it up a level. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that with Kobe even seen that with the early LeBron generation, but LeBron with the player empowerment movement, now they take it like it's just like it's nothing. And that's the issue, the main issue with the All-Star game. The other issue with the All-Star game is that we haven't gotten superstars to participate in the dunk contest. The three-point contest has been fine because that's what the NBA is now. And the best three-point shooters have competed multiple times in the three-point contest. The dunk contest, we needed the LeBrons, we need the Ant Edwards, we need the Zions, we need the Ja Morants, we need those guys to go participate in that. And then we need the All-Star game for people to play. I'm not saying, again, it doesn't have to be playoff intensity, but it has to be like a half a step or a step away from a regular season game. And we're not getting that.
Well, we got two more, but heroes and villains always work. That's why you got God and the devil. And the thing about what FIFA was saying and what you were saying about those teams is they have superstars on them. They're gonna watch KD and LeBron and Curry and Draymond's a villain. They're gonna watch those because they're superstars. But if you have the team, if you take the rosters from OKC right now and Indiana and put those in those matchups, I don't know if it'll hit the same because those guys aren't superstars.
Ken, the NBA doesn't even promote like their point guard series. They don't even promote their Netflix series where the people are talking about the Olympics. Like the NFL, they tell you at every game, hard knocks. They tell you all the mid-season hard knocks now because you know why? The Chicago Bears hard knocks, I just looked it up. They broke records for an average of 4.4 million viewers. We're talking about half of what the NBA Finals was for game 2. That's so crazy. Half of that. And I'm just saying is that they invest in storytelling for teams. Yo, let's put the cameras in the front office. Let's see the GM of the Giants fuck up and do some crazy shit and ask Jayden Daniels to read a defense for him like he don't know what the fuck that is. Let's see the blunders of the Cleveland Browns. Let's see Joe Burrow and let's see Mike Tomlin. All these people that they're encompassing as a team product. The NBA is it's like a fucking ghost town where it's like, hey, we got Ant and we got SGA and we got some aura from the Celtics and that's it. Hey, LeBron's still playing. Come and watch us on a random Wednesday night. You don't even know when the games is coming on. League Pass is horrible as a user experience. Just like the layout is terrible. Everything that the NBA needs for them to grow, where the era of kids putting posters on their wall to come back. It's like they're just averse to doing it. And until they change those things, it's over.
Nobody want to put Haliburton on their wall, and nobody want to put SG on their wall. And nobody want to put
story's
on their
not
wall,
there,
bro. Nobody. How many people put fucking Giannis on the wall, bro?
That's because the stories are not there, dude. That's the huge
I don't think you're wrong. 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 Ken, I don't think you're wrong. The data's there and it backs up what you're saying. I'm just saying the macro picture, it lets the NBA off the hook because I'm sorry, I just refuse to give the corporation that much leeway that, hey, it's like telling me that this artist can't pop off and you haven't even put a marketing budget into the videos, into Spotify, into all these things and saying, well, he just can't make it happen. We all know that hit records are given to artists. Hit records are like everyone eats off a hit record. Everyone should eat off of the fact that people care about these teams.
I was going to say this.
I think it's a 1-to-1.
I was going to say this, Ken. I know we got to move on. We knew this going in. They knew this going in. I think they know how to market what they know how to market. you tell me how to French fry Oklahoma City and Indy Shelton to where everybody coming down the block. I told y'all.
Nick, I think they got big marketing. Nick, I think they got too many. I think they have too many sports people in the sports thing, if that makes sense. Like there's the podcast where guy was talking about how the reason why a lot of things in music and in media just aren't moving the way that they should, and we feel like there's not this cultural revolution that should be happening because we're in 2025 and all this technology is available. The reason why a lot of people feel like it's not happening is because people stay too insulated within their industry. Where if you're a sports guy, you're going to market like a sports guy. Whereas they don't let guys from the tech industry come in and say, hey, here's how we blew Apple up and here's how we made Samsung's user experience.
How did it work out for the government?
See, the thing you're talking about state planning. You're talking about state planning. I'm talking about industry and companies. I'm talking about corporations, not how, you know what I mean? That's state planning. They got them. But you know what I'm saying?
Nah, Nick is right, man. I don't think there's no amount of marketing they can do to get the ratings up.
And to Sheldon's point, to Sheldon's point, peer respect in the 90s was right here, and the money was right here. You know what I'm saying? Now the desire for your respect from your peers, I feel like it's down here, and the money is up here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the player don't really give a fuck. I'm not going to join the dunk contest because, bro, I'm getting paid $40 million a year. Like, when you're in the 90s, you're getting like a $18 million contract for 8 years and shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, Adam Silver was hedging early too. He was out there doing those interviews hedging early. And what did you say about Kansas City, Spike?
Kansas City ain't a large market.
What do they have on their team?
Who's in no, Spike, that's so perfect. Who's in the skybox, Spike? Talk to me real quick.
Thank you.
Who got an Amazon podcast for $100 million?
No.
NFL leans into that.
Who do they have on their team?
It's Taylor Swift.
They have Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
What
Taylor
is Patrick
Swift.
Mahomes?
the biggest star in the game.
That is a terrible example, Spike.
No, it's not, because so who is SGA?
Well, no, Spike.
MVP of the league.
SGA ain't shit.
He's not the biggest shit.
Nobody. He's not the biggest. No. Spike. Hold on.
He's not the biggest star in the game, though.
Right. Spike.
That's because of the lack of storytelling by the NBA. That's what we saying,
bro.
He's not. He should be one of the biggest stars in the game.
You gave me an example of Patrick Mahomes, the biggest star, the GOAT in the league, and on Kansas City, and the superstar draws the interest on the team in the very same way that LeBron did for fucking Cleveland.
But in the same way that I'm saying, he could have fell through the cracks just like SGA is doing without the storytelling of the NFL versus the NBA. All the NBA got to do is get behind SGA and tell the story. They won't do it.
LeBron was a superstar coming into. LeBron is a superstar.
Patrick Mahomes is a superstar.
But Mahomes was not the guy coming in. He wasn't the chosen one.
They bench for a year and a half.
And here's the
Patrick
thing:
Mahomes became a star in the league because of the things he was doing, and because he elevated, people started to watch.
And because the NFL told the story.
Ken, I would argue that Patrick Mahomes' rise at the very beginning. You could also say that Tyreek Hill and Kelsey had.
No,
I think
they're telling me that superstars. They're telling the story of super. What the fuck is going on right now?
Okay, King. So you're telling me that SGA can't beat Pat Mahomes?
No,
I don't think so. No.
How are y'all saying that?
Because he'll never be the greatest to ever play the game.
What you basing it off of?
Okay,
he'll never be mentioned in the GOAT conversation.
You know what?
I think SGA has a ways to go, bro. We said this last week, Spike.
A better example would be Spike. A better example would actually, and I know you hate the player, but just off your jersey sales and off clout in the league, Jalen Hurts, like he's always in the top 5. People know his name. He's getting all this press from Essence, getting press from Good Morning America. People know his fucking name, and Philadelphia is a big market, so he don't gotta beat Mahomes. But Hurts came to the league, no one give a fuck. Like, all right, we drafted him, no one cared, and then he had to prove his way into it, and now people are like, okay, you won a Super Bowl, he's validated, his stardom is stamped, and I think that.
People don't look about Hurts like that, bro.
But they do though. They do though. They do though.
That's what I was saying.
They do though.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Worst of the week is same week you hit a buzzer beater. Yep.
Yo,
it can happen.
Life come at you fast.
Sugar shit.
And green beans. USA versus the world is official for next year All-Stars. I know y'all don't like it, but I'm intrigued.
This is just xenophobia.
This is what I'm talking about. Adam Silver gave up on American Kid.
He say whatever y'all want to do.
Slowly but surely, he's gonna say like it's gonna be the world versus USA next year, kid.
Well, we kind of saw this already with the first and second year players when they was doing a rookie sophomore game. They a couple of years they did it where it was the USA versus the world. So we've kind of seen this in the past. I don't like it. Because I don't I don't know how sustainable it is. You know what I'm saying? And if it gets lopsided one way or the other, you're gonna have to change it again.
No, it's weird.
All right. Well, he trying, but it's just he needs some better people on his team, or maybe to put a lot of marketing behind. I don't know. That seems to be the fits for everything. But we're gonna leave it there, man. We'll catch you guys next week. I'm out. We out. Peace.